perfect material for his style of political art, in which every fucking object is labeled.
Yeah. Just Joe Biden breen casserole. It's just him passed out in the casserole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Great post.
Liberal Thanksgiving, once again, on our timelines. But all right, let's transition away from politics for now and into the wide world of hip-hop beefs.
I only know about one hip-hop beef. Is this about that?
Yes, it's the only one that's happened. Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, not any other hip-hop beefs.
The rest of them all like each other, from what I can tell.
Yeah. Well, so the world of hip-hop beefs. Drake has found new and exciting ways to make himself look like the world's biggest loser, or at least the biggest loser in the music industry right now, by filing a lawsuit against Kendrick Lamar for just, I guess, Kendrick Lamar absolutely destroying him in a battle that, by the way, Drake and his crew not only started, but perpetuated, resulting in a bunch of awful and forgettable attempts at diss tracks from Drake and works of audible fucking art from Kendrick Lamar.
Literally the song of the year, at least here in LA.
Yeah.
Like, there was a solid 3 or 4 months where anytime I was driving, I would hear dozens of cars blasting that shit.
On the corner of, was it Sunset and Glendale Boulevard or whatever, there were people the weekend that it came out dancing in the street to the song with boomboxes and stuff. It's
very catchy.
I've never seen anything like it. It was beautiful to witness. But yeah, Not Like Us became one of the biggest songs of the year. A complete cultural victory for Kendrick Lamar, Los Angeles, and therefore the world.
Yeah, that's why the Dodgers won.
That it is. It was. I think Gavin Lux had it as his walkout music. But during the postseason, they had entire graphics packages, and they played the song in the stadium, which was obviously very funny because the song revolves around calling Drake a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, it's very weird because it's like a super catchy song, but it is a diss track where you are accusing someone of being pedophile in very colorful language. I attended a wedding this past summer where the bridal party, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids, walked down the aisle to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. And I was like, okay, maybe they're going to do this really quick before it gets to the line where he literally calls Drake a pedophile.
Then everyone sings along.
No, I was sitting in the aisle while they're dancing down the aisle, and it's certified pedophile. I'm like, you know, I guess that's where we're at. It's just that much of a bop.
That's not even. There were videos of like this song being played at school dances and quinceañeras and bar mitzvahs and like kids singing along to it. Yeah. Regardless, total cultural.
That's
victory.
how they learn about stranger danger now.
Yeah.
Just listen to this.
Yeah. And now all those kids know what the red marks on the map are. Yeah. Now for Drake, however, the track that called him a child groomer couldn't possibly be such a massive hit without someone intentionally conspiring against him. There's no way this was natural.
Yeah.
It just was too big.
Something's fishy. It's voter fraud, but for music.
Not only does the lawsuit make Drake look weak and delusional, but it also, once again, clearly solidifies Kendrick Lamar as the winner of the feud.
Yeah.
Drake got his ass beat so bad that he called the cops. He begged for the mods to do something.
Yeah, you forfeit the fight.
And in doing so, he has done the big brain move of suing his own music distributor because it represents both of them. Here's Variety.
Canadian rapper Drake. Canadian rapper Drake has initiated legal action against Universal Music Group over allegations that the company conspired using Spotify to artificially inflate the popularity of Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. The action is doubly surprising because UMG distributes both artists' recordings. In a filing Monday in Manhattan court, first reported by Billboard, Drake's Frozen Moments LLC accused UMG of launching an illegal scheme involving bots, payola, and other methods to boost the numbers for Lamar's viciously personal song, which accuses Drake of pedophilia and amplified the already fiery dispute between the two artists. The petition, obtained by Variety, claims that UMG engaged in conduct designed to artificially inflate the popularity of Not Like Us, including by licensing the song at drastically reduced rates to Spotify and using bots to generate the false impression that the song was more popular than it was in reality. Okay, so two things. The first part, I don't know if this is true, but I remember literally days after the song came out, I was in a bar and it was playing on the touch tunes, and I was like,
How the hell did it get
I
out
was
of
like, wait, how did that happen? The bartender's like, yeah, I think Kendrick like released the license for like crazy cheap just so it could get on everything.
Yeah.
So there may be something to that. It's not a crime.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea that this song is not as popular organically as they say it was is fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't even fucking follow hip hop closely at all. And I heard this song hundreds, maybe thousands of times in the past year.
The funniest part about all of this is that in just 2.5 months, just over 2.5 months, Kendrick Lamar is going to perform this song during the halftime performance at the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, if he really wanted to twist the knife, he'd do it at whatever the CFL's Super Bowl is.
Well, they're not even that good at hockey up there anymore. They send all their players down here over to Florida. Yeah, no, I guess, what's that one where they do the brush in front of the big weight?
Curling?
Yeah. He'll play it at the curling championship.
Yeah, that'll really get to Drake.
Representatives for Universal Music Group responded to the lawsuit later on Monday and basically said that, unfortunately for Mr. Aubrey, they don't have control of the lever that makes things go viral.
This is like back at Machinima, like press the viral button. Can we juice this? Can we make this go viral? No, no, you can't.
And they said that the support behind the song was legitimate. In a statement to the outlet, a UMG rep said, "The suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue. We employ the highest ethical practices in our marketing and promotional campaigns. No amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans choose the music they want to hear." While other streaming services are not named in the petition, it does claim that UMG appears to have used similar tactics with other streaming services. On information and belief, UMG paid or approved payments to Apple Inc. to have its voice-activated digital assistant Siri purposely misdirect users to Not Like Us.
Wait, how would that work?
I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is like, hey, play Kendrick Lamar, and it just plays Not Like Us. Like, they didn't even ask for that song.
The one thing I can think of is maybe if
they
he was
wanted
like,
King Kunta.
Hey, play the Drake Beef song or something. Like they did the tags to relate it. I don't know.
Like,
I have no idea.
When you get into a song this popular and you look at the raw like streaming numbers, like that would require so many bots, so much inauthentic engagement that
the amount that you would have to pay for inauthentic engagement compared to the natural engagement that the song got anyway is such an astronomical number.
Yeah.
And so easy to prove that it's going to get tossed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this obviously makes Drake look insane, not just because he thinks this was some grand conspiracy against him, but especially because the end result of these accusations is a lawsuit against his own distributor, who you would assume would have been an impartial but at least amused observer.
They make money either way.
Yeah, to the whole beef. They're making money no matter what. That's why they play both sides. They always come out on top.
Yeah.
But the timing of this filing is also hilarious because it comes just like 3 days after Kendrick Lamar released a near perfect album. An exclamation point.
Does he even talk about Drake on the album?
No, he doesn't explicitly talk about him at all.
People had moved on. They're listening to the new Kendrick stuff, and he's like, wait, hey, hold on, stop. You guys remember when he made multiple songs about me being a pedophile, one of which was like the song of the year?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that some more?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so he doesn't, there's like a very loose reference in one of the song titles, and it's not even, it's nothing. But why would he? Why would he bring up the beef?
Yeah, he already won.
Yeah. He destroyed Drake, and now he's performing at the Super Bowl. Well, where he will almost certainly play the song that insinuates that Drake is a fucking pedophile. So great work, Drake. Just when people had probably started to forget about this, you rush in and you remind everyone, but also claim that the song's success was so massive that it just had to be artificial and intentionally boosted just to make you look bad.
The part about me being a pedophile, that is true, but the success of the song, no.
That's the fake part.
No.
Yeah. Well, I've got one word to say to Mr. Drake, and that word is mustard.
Mustard.
TV Off. It's a great track on that album. Honestly, every track on that album is great. I don't usually go for the slower songs in hip hop, but there's some good ones on there too.
The slow jams.
Yeah. But TV Off is an all-timer.
Anyways, that's enough rap talk. Yeah, we do have more news to cover, but first let's talk about our sponsors.
Something that we're thankful for.
Because that's what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving. When I gather around the table and hold hands with all my family members, this is what I'm going to say I'm thankful for this year.
Hims Hair.
Our lovely sponsors. Also, thankful for you for ordering the Monitor Buddies. So many of you guys have sent us basically like images of your receipts.
You've doxed yourself, but thank you.
Yeah, it's very awesome seeing so many screenshots of those order confirmations on our social media pages. And by social media pages, I mean Blue Sky, because I'm not on Twitter anymore. It's unbelievable to see so much support, in addition to having little action figures of ourselves, little figurines, little statuettes, little dolls.
Yeah.
Also, a huge thank you to our channel members. If you're looking for a cheap way to support our show, you can always just click that join button and become a paid member of the channel. It really helps us out. We can't thank you enough. So please, if you've been on the fence, just click the damn button.
Hey, it's the season of giving. Yeah. Give to us, your news guys.
But now let's thank our sponsors, and then we'll get back to the news. Thank you, Hims Hair, for sponsoring the show and giving so many men their hair back.
Yeah, it's been a very intense year. The hair might be falling out, so it's a perfect sponsor. And yeah, Hims Hair is the perfect solution to all that hair that's been falling off your head because of these damned interesting times. Some men, like one of the hosts of this very show, are able to navigate hair loss gracefully and confidently, but not everyone looks fantastic with a bald head. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to keep that lush, flowing mane of yours just the way it is, or to even turn back time when it was a lush and flowing hairstyle. Now with Hims, the solution is simple. You try Hims Hair Loss Solutions and you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of subscribers who got their flow back.
Hims provides you with convenient and quality access to a range of hair loss treatments that work, all from the comfort of your couch. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Choose from personalized chewable, oral, spray, and serum treatments to find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online, so there are no uncomfortable doctor visits. Answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you in discreet packaging for free.
No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, and they can help you get your confidence back too with visibly thicker and fuller hair. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/todaydaily. That is HIMS.com/todaydaily for your personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/todaydaily. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This episode is also sponsored by LegalZoom. As business owners ourselves, traditional legal services come with major sticker shock. Getting registered or talking to an attorney shouldn't have to cost so much. And thankfully, today's sponsor, LegalZoom, created a better way to start and stay in business from initial formation to one-on-one legal consultation. LegalZoom has everything you need to launch, run, and protect your business all in one place. They help business owners like us and you to take your first step and every step after, from reliable business formation to experienced guidance in legal and tax.
Setting up your business properly and remaining compliant are things you want to get right from the get-go. But you don't have to strain your brain or your wallet. At LegalZoom.com, you can take care of business legal needs in just a few clicks. And if you need some hands-on help, their network of experience.com, promo code ITDaily.
All right, back to the news now. And just in time for the biggest consumer season of the year comes one of the biggest fraud accusations at a major retailer in recent memory. A now former Macy's employee apparently hid over $150 million worth of expenses relating to small item delivery.
This is like, when I think about this, I think back to that deli worker who was just eating a slice of ham every day.
It adds up.
And they're like, well, unfortunately, you've been working here a couple years and you've committed a felony by stealing one slice of ham every day.
Yeah.
This is the extreme version of that, but I feel deep down inside me that this person will have less to face than the person who stole ham.
Yeah.
Because when you steal a slice of ham, you're a criminal. When you hide $150 million worth of company money, that's just kind of an oopsie. And that oopsie kind of helped the company for a while because it looked like we were making a lot more than we were. Yeah.
Yeah, the company just went public with these findings, which drove the stock price down 3% during trading. Here's the Washington Post with more on this.
Macy's said an employee hid as much as $154 million in delivery expenses over a 3-year period, prompting the retailer to delay the release of third-quarter earnings. Macy's estimates that the employee hid $132 to $154 million during a period when it had accrued approximately $4.3 billion in total delivery expenses. The company said there is no indication that it impacted its cash management or vendor payments. Chief Executive Tony Springs said in the news release that the company values a culture of ethical conduct. While we work diligently to complete the investigation as soon as practicable and ensure this matter is handled appropriately, our colleagues across the company are focused on serving our customers and executing our strategy for a successful holiday season, he said. And
Yeah,
soon enough, everyone's going to forget about this, and it's going to be totally fine.
Why are we all dwelling on the inventory of Black Friday's past when this Black Friday, down at your local Macy's, it's in stock, folks?
Yeah, these are called doorbusters.
You're going to want to bust the door in.
And we got about $150 million worth of doors that we need busted right now to make up all.
We need to make a lot of doors disappear.
Yeah, no, all that revenue that was for door replacement.
Yeah.
Because of our door busters.
They all got busted.
Yeah.
Busting makes me feel good. Moving on to some very internet-specific news tidbits. It looks like somebody tricked those Costco guys. We're Costco guys.
Hey,
Boom.
Boom. Hey, the double chunk chocolate.
You know about them. You know about them against your will, just like we do.
It is impossible to escape their grip on our reality.
Yeah.
Just like the Hawk Tuah girl, we have been forced to suffer through their success.
Yeah, Hawk to a girlfriend, Costco guy boyfriend. That's the reality we live in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, AJ and Big Justice, they were tricked into doing a cameo for white supremacist Richard Spencer, where they talk about his forthcoming book, and after telling him that a trip to Costco might help him with the book, they proceed to give a boom to Aryan inner moralization and a doom to Jewish esoteric moralization. Which is fucked up, but totally inevitable, considering that most internet personalities who do cameo videos all day probably are not vetting every single request for potential issues. And in this case, they used acronyms for the boom and doom stuff, so they didn't know exactly what they were saying. This happens constantly to cameo creators and is a modern and unique form of trolling. The trolls get to make the influencer look bad while also getting an influencer to unintentionally support their extreme message through language that seems innocuous to the person fulfilling the video request.
Yeah. Obviously, we're kind of, lukewarm on the whole boom! Big Justice and AJ Costco guys universe. But, I do think that everyone is in agreement when it comes to the Rizzler being pure of heart and soul. He is the most naturally talented in front of the camera.
He has great presence.
He's the only one not forcing it. He's just naturally charismatic.
Yeah.
I hope someone takes care of that.
AJ and Big Justice, they sought fame out, but the Rizzler, fame came to him.
Yeah, he doesn't want it. He's just there. And that's what makes him cool. Now, AJ just seems like a dude who has desperately sought fame for years before finally landing on something that
I thought
works.
AJ was the kid.
No, that's Big Justice.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. And AJ's at least savvy enough to exploit the hell out of the fame for all it's worth while it lasts.
Okay.
They've got the songs. They've got the
That rap song, fuck Kendrick Lamar.
They won the rap beef.
Yeah, we bring the boom.
Yeah.
We bring the boom.
Drake could never.
And it just goes on so long. They've made multiple different versions of it, starring increasingly obscure members of their family and cinematic universe.
It's the Costco guys version of Old Town Road, where there was a new release every month with a new singer attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should get Drake to perform on.
He does like little kids.
He does.
Yeah.
He loves them.
Yeah. Allegedly. So, anyways, they do have that song. They're doing their cameos, and they've even done live event appearances. They're showing up at sports games.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They call it the Rizzler curse. What happened to the New York Mets?
That's right. They did bring the Rizzler out, and they did lose. So.
Yeah, they were doing great when the Grimace was out there, and then they replaced the Grimace with the Rizzler, and their fortunes turned 180 degrees overnight.
Wait, we need a new mascot for overconsumption of the Mets. No, not like that.
Grimace saw that he was being upstaged, and
he's been awful silent since then. And the rumors are that the Rizzler's been spotted with Mrs. Met, which is clearly
what a whore.
So, hold on. Okay, back to them. The big guy who's AJ, not Big Justice. Big AJ, who's the dad.
Okay.
The dad, he actually got to fulfill one of his lifelong dreams recently when they all appeared on a recent taping of AEW, All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
Where the dad beat his opponent with the help of his son, who speared the wrestler QT Marshall.
Oh, spear from a child. That's.
Yeah, he did a good job too. But the spear was just the start. He was quickly, he got the signature move.
Well, the dad actually, like, he was an amateur wrestler for a while there.
Do you think James will ever get to wrestling?
That would be cool, because, yeah, James has been wrestling. Our old buddy James, who wrestles under the ring name James Angel.
Yeah.
He's been getting in the ring a lot, pretty often lately, yeah. He's a heel, which I like. He plays a great heel.
Anyways, yeah, his dad's signature move is the power boom, and that's what ended the match. And he was victorious. But the Rizzler was there too.
Did the Rizzler contribute?
So, yeah, whatever. It's fine. They're having fun, and the kids, they seem to be enjoying it.
For now.
It's just wild that two of the dumbest videos of the year, the Costco guys and the Hawk Tuah girl, made their participants more famous faster than any influencer has been in the years past.
I think it's a sign. It's a bad sign. I don't know what it means.
Yeah. I did see one theory.
They sought it out. Hawk Tuah girl was discovered.
Yes.
And I have less of a problem with her, just because it's like, yeah, it's a great opportunity that just fell into her lap. The
Dad seems desperate for it.
Boom family, I have a problem with anything that involves like putting kids on camera outside of like the strict systems we have in place in Hollywood that are written in blood.
Yeah, regulated. But two things. One with the Hawk Tuah thing, it has also spawned a cottage industry of React content, which is fantastic. They do it completely deadpan, serious analyzing of every episode. I think it's Talking Hawk Tuah.
I don't have time for this. Who has time for this?
It's fantastic. And so back to the theory about why specifically this year viral influencers have been able to actually not only go viral, but create these careers for themselves. And the theory, which I am going to believe because it's fun, is that when Ellen was part of the system,
oh yeah, she was like
she sucked all the fame out of every viral star and like left their husks out on the road.
So yeah, she was described as like a keystone apex predator in the world of influencers that brought balance to nature, and it's like what happens when you kill all the wolves. Like it causes this like domino effect in the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
Ellen was there as sort of a filter to stop this stuff from ever getting to that
They're
level.
like, okay, you've done Ellen, now go back to whatever you were doing.
Like, yeah, if she wasn't around to bring on Damn Daniel, like we would have had we'd be on season 20 of like the Damn Daniel show.
Two funny things about Ellen. She actually did what she moved out of the country.
Yeah, well,
probably less for the fact that Donald Trump is president and more for the fact that now she can fully embrace whatever weirdo fucking. She's gonna move into a mold house like J.K. Rowling and just become a transphobe. But the other thing was like she did a special on Netflix, which is always what canceled people do. They get a multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix. But the Netflix special is funny for one reason. She walks out on stage and basically goes like, hey, I was canceled. And then gets a standing ovation from the crowd.
Yeah, things seem pretty rough for you.
Yeah.
Is the special called Triggered?
It's
very
something like
title.
that. I can't remember what the actual title is, but the clip of...
It would be so funny if Ellen went anti-woke.
Like, why wouldn't she? This is a perfect gift for her to do that.
I guess, but like her entire shtick and her stage presence doesn't, it's a mismatch.
Well, that's the problem. That's why her dissent was so big, was because she positioned herself as the nice person.
Yeah.
When that came out that it wasn't true, it was such a shock to everyone.
I mean, when we see this repeatedly, it's like anytime someone's brand is being nice, they're probably not nice.
Yeah.
They're covering.
Yeah.
But From people who were most likely tricked into supporting right-wing weirdos to a guy, literally a guy, who has almost certainly always been a right-wing weirdo in hiding. One who eventually fulfilled his libertarian destiny by texting a minor for sex, getting caught, going into hiding, getting kicked off multiple platforms, and then returning to an audience who frustratingly welcomed him back with open arms. We are, of course, talking about Dr. Disrespect, aka Guy Beam, who has been back streaming video games despite admitting that he used Twitch's DM services to send sexual messages to a 17-year-old, and that was the reason he got his Twitch account banned all those years ago.
Yeah. Case closed. Well, not really, but the explanation's out there.
He's basically the Donald Trump of streaming.
That's right.
How does he keep getting away with it? But after searching for a place to monetize his streams since making his unfortunate return, he has finally landed on a platform that clearly doesn't care about its image. And yes, it's a highly conservative video platform that seems all too eager to associate themselves with an alleged child groomer. Rumble,
Yeah.
which hosts and promotes creators from the alt-right and plenty of self-proclaimed white supremacists.
Yeah, it's Rumble, baby. Not only are you allowed to stream on our platform, we're going to monetize it.
Yeah.
We're going to do a press release when you join us, and we're going to make you an advisor.
Who advertises on Rumble, though? I've never watched a video on Rumble. I'd be curious to just, I don't even care about the video itself. I want to see who's running ads.
I would assume, well, scams, crypto,
Yeah.
MyPillow stuff.
Hello, it is me, Elon Musk. You should buy this new coin. Yeah, that will send you all to Mars.
Guerrilla mindset stuff.
Yeah. Nootropics.
Kettlebells that look like
What else
guns.
is new?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of garbage out there.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, for more on all of this, here's Kotaku. Controversial video game streamer Guy Dr. Disrespect Beam is officially joining Rumble, the right-wing streaming platform online personalities like Russell Brand go to when no one else will have them. The alt tech platform announced the former Twitch star will receive equity and be an advisor, despite admitting earlier this year to having inappropriate conversations with a minor several years ago. Quote, as part of an agreement that includes equity with milestones as a majority of its compensation, Dr. Disrespect will provide exclusive content to Rumble Premium for his Champions Club community. The company's November 25th press release reads, Dr. Disrespect will also lead Rumble Gaming, acting as an advisor and helping to build the Rumble gaming community. Get out! Get out! If you're in that gaming community and you are a child, get away! There's going to be such a rogues gallery of streamers involved in this. Also, tying his pay package, which I'm sure is in the millions, to performance is crazy. He's going to be working overtime to make sure Rumble is like the biggest platform for gamers. Beam's first stream on the new platform will take place on December 2nd. The move comes a month after YouTube rejected Beam's initial request to have his channel partnership reinstated after it was demonetized over the summer due to past misconduct that got him banned from Twitch in 2020. So, you know, in the future, there's nothing like sitting down to watch your favorite groomer or groomers on one of the nation's largest alt-right video networks. It's all in one place. All the things I love. Don't got to go searching for everything. There's my favorite Nazi and my favorite gaming personality.
My favorite pedophile.
Who has convinced me that 5G signals are what caused him to text a minor.
Yeah, that's probably what did it.
Yeah.
And RFK Jr. is going to do something about that.
Speaking of RFK Jr., I forgot to put it in the script, but since we're here, there's been reports of the bird flu infecting raw milk in at least one case in California. So
they're calling it a conspiracy to discredit Robert F. Kennedy Jr. How convenient is it that the wildly unhealthy raw milk trend that he promotes has led to an outbreak of a disease? I don't think so. Something's very fishy.
The thing that sucks so bad about this, like with COVID and everything else, is that all these people are just going to get everyone else sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, great things coming for the nation's health, as usual. But, folks, it's Thanksgiving week. We're going to take a couple episodes off. We'll be back very shortly, but we are going to take some time and, I don't know, go in the woods. Something. Relax. Take our minds off things.
I got cooking to do.
Yeah, that's right. But make sure you like the video so that when we come back, YouTube lets you know that we still exist. Only be gone a couple days. Anytime I say it, I'm like, everyone thinks we're going forever. That's it. It's over. No, we'll be back by Saturday, okay?
Yeah.
But like the video, because we always tell you to like the video, and it actually helps our channel grow. Leave a comment, talk about anything we spoke about today. Get it going there. Subscribe to the channel, and please head to the link in the description to get our blurry monitor buddies, which will not be blurry when they arrive to you in a couple of months after you pre-order them. Pre-orders are only up for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you want one, get one.
Look at that.
Do it.
Look at that. Just sitting on your monitor.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. You want it. You want it. You need to buy. Buy now.
Also, we would be very thankful if you joined the channel. Click the join button. Now, our 2 most recent videos are popping up here. We got a bunch of stuff for you to watch. We got a bunch of things to take you away from any awkward conversations with your family this week. So check both of those out, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Enemy UAV inbound. Shots leader under.
From millions of views per video to barely struggling past a few thousand, Blasphemous HD TV has had one of the most pitiful downfalls in YouTube history, and he has no one but himself to blame for his demise. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be looking into the downfall of Blasphemous HD TV. It's hard to believe this now, but there was a time when Blasphemous HD was considered the golden standard for reaction content. Instead of just re-uploading popular content with an emotionless face in the corner, it would actually pause whatever he was watching and add meaningful or funny commentary.
God! Dude, I feel for the
Enemy
cameraman on that.
incoming.
His was like this close to getting tail whipped.
His large personality and often hilarious reactions resonated with millions of people who tuned in to watch his videos every single day. Compare that to today, and his situation couldn't be more miserable, with one sad fan writing, "I miss the old BHD. I remember the days coming back from school to watch BHD. Back in 2013 to 2016, I probably would have said he's the best YouTuber out there, but now he's a sad shell of his former self, with weird Dolomite tattoos on his arms." But the thing is, unlike many other YouTubers who experience a downfall, there wasn't a single major controversy or drama that tanked Blasphemous HD's career. Rather, his monumental fall-off is caused by a series of bad decisions and blunders that slowly eroded the love his fans had for him over the years. These blunders include everything from his treatment of his friends and girlfriend to a drastic shift in quality of his content. However, to fully understand why Blasphemous HD fell off so hard, we first have to understand how he got so popular in the first place. Richard Maurice Stanley Barnett started his YouTube career back in 2008 with a channel in his real name called Maurice Barnett. Content on his channel was a complete mixed bag of horror games, skits, song covers, and storytime videos. He posted on his channel until 2013, before moving on to a brand new channel called Blasphemous HD Gaming. As the name suggests, this channel was mainly focused on gaming-related content.
That was dumb.
However, in addition to the gaming content, Maurice also started posting storytime videos and turned them into an ongoing series.
Alright, so we're working at Walmart back in the day. At Walmart, they used to treat their customers like gold. And they used to treat their employees like so much so that the customers even started treating the employees like.
And after nearly 5 years on YouTube, this is when Maurice's career first started taking off. It was now consistently gaining new subscribers as viewers were genuinely interested in his over-the-top gameplay reactions, as well as his unique and often hilarious stories. It was so successful, in fact, that Maurice decided to go all in and created 3 new channels in the next 2 years. Blasphemous HD TV in November of 2014, Blasphemous HD Pranks the same month, and Blasphemous HD TV 2 a year later in November of 2015. With these new channels channels under his belt, Maurice diversified his content even more. Blasphemous HD TV and Blasphemous HD TV 2 were mainly reaction channels, where he would post his reactions to anything and everything, from ghost sightings to horror animations.
After the shot was enhanced and had light added, the child resembled an angry ghost heading towards the birthday girl.
Oh, hell no. Nope. People wonder why I'm not celebrating my birthday today.
Blasphemous HD Pranks was focused on prank videos with the new crew members he assembled for content.
It's not in anything. So, I don't know what it is.
These new additions included Chavez, Randy Jackson, Brandy P, Dr. Girlfriend, who was Maurice's partner at the time, and his brother KTTV. You can think of it as an early version of the Content House model that was later adopted and popularized by the likes of David Dobrik and the Paul brothers. And it worked flawlessly. By 2018, his 4 main channels had nearly 4 million subscribers in total. All of his videos on the main channel were also clearing 1 million views without any issues. Most importantly, viewers actually loved the content Maurice and his friends were putting out, regardless whether it was a reaction to something, a prank, or a vlog. Unfortunately, 2018 would also mark the beginning of the end for Maurice's media empire. His career has been in constant decline ever since, and only seems to be getting worse by the day. So what happened? How did such a successful and beloved YouTuber become nearly forgotten by the internet? As I briefly mentioned earlier, Blasphemous HD didn't come crashing down as a result of a single big controversy. Instead, its descent into irrelevance was fueled by a series of blunders by Maurice, the first of which was cheating on his then girlfriend, Karen, aka Dr. Girlfriend. It all started in 2016, when Maurice's channels were growing at an incredible pace. During this time, Dr. Girlfriend had also become a consistent part of his content, and the fans loved her dynamic with Maurice in the videos.
You don't have any product?
Well, please don't ever touch me again.
Oh my
What a dick.
God.
What a dick. What a
The
dick.
shade.
That wasn't even shade. That was just flat out. Don't touch me.
They really wanted to fight.
She was trying to make it seem jokingly. He's the one who made it uncomfortable. Girl in the blue was just kind of like,
I feel bad for her. She's just sitting like,
taking the injection. Yeah, those trees are blooming, huh? Look at that shiny ground.
Everything was going well, but then one day, Maurice woke up to something extremely shocking. His girlfriend of 5 years had her bags packed and was ready to break up with him and leave. But before you feel bad for Maurice, maybe the reason she broke up with him so suddenly was because she found out that he'd been cheating on her for quite some time. Maurice announced the breakup a while later in a tweet stating, "Remember the news I couldn't tell y'all a while ago? Well, I'm single now. Dating is gonna breed so many new dating horror story times." This left the viewers shocked, as many of them enjoyed seeing the two together in videos. This announcement was also quite vague, which made fans speculate over the reason behind this sudden breakup. However, they wouldn't get a concrete answer until January of 2018, when Chavez uploaded a video to his personal channel titled, "Why Don't Chavez and BHD Hang Out Anymore?" In this video, Chavez detailed the whole story of what actually happened behind the scenes. According to him, Maurice told him about how he's been cheating on Dr. Girlfriend with various Instagram models. He also told this to Chavez's girlfriend, Skitten, who was also best friends with Dr. Girlfriend, leading to Dr. Girlfriend finding out, as well as eventually breaking up with him. And the reason Chavez made this video 2 years after the breakup was because Maurice was making up lies that Skitten was the one who cheated on Chavez with him.
Him and Dr. Girlfriend had an argument. Dr. Girlfriend was talking to us about it when she came over to the crib, that they had an argument and Skitten's name came up somehow in their argument, and he decided Skitten must have told Dr. Girlfriend something, so she helped figure out that he was cheating, right? But at the end of the day, I don't even give, I mean, even if my girlfriend didn't tell Dr. Girlfriend that he was cheating. It's what she should have did. So who cares? I think the only reason now that he's saying that it was really Skitten cheating on me is so that now when I bring this up, it makes it really confusing. Like, who's cheating on who? Who's trying to fuck who?
But things would get a lot more clear when Skitten also posted a video titled, "I tried to sleep with my best friend's ex," with a very special guest, Dr. Girlfriend. In the video, she basically confirmed what Chavez had revealed in his video.
What is the reason that you and BHD broke up?
Well,
he cheated on me with multiple different women. So
She also revealed that Maurice had been cheating on her for 3 years in their 5-year relationship.
how long were you together again? Almost 5
More
years.
than
And
half.
how many of those years was he cheating on you? About 3 of those. Oh, 3 you say?
In other words, he spent more time cheating on her than he did being loyal to her. Dr. Girlfriend did mention that it had been years since their breakup and she had completely moved on from him. However, while she was in a better emotional space, this reveal was a devastating blow to longtime fans of Blasphemous HD, who were now seeing the true colors of their beloved YouTuber. However, they were still waiting for a response from Maurice about the whole situation, hoping that this was all a lie and that he would reveal the real truth. Unfortunately, they kept waiting, but the response never came. That is until 2021, a whole 3 years after the reveal, when Maurice showed interest in addressing the matter. But there was a catch. You see, after having monetization issues on YouTube, Maurice decided to create his own website at blasphemoushdtv.com. This site would feature exclusive content that was locked behind a paywall. And to drive traffic to this new website, he announced that the video talking about his breakup would be one of these exclusives on his site. It was extremely clear that he was just using one of his past controversies as a cheap cash grab to drive subscriptions on his website. However, people were still interested in what he had to say about the whole thing. Sadly, his response wasn't even close to what loyal fans were hoping for.
Listen, look, so with the whole Dr. Girlfriend stuff, I'm gonna tell y'all why I cheated. Like, for real, for real. I've studied some psychology on manipulative people, and this is what they do, bro. They get you to a place of depression. They beat you down psychologically, and they feed you with scraps. Give you a little bit of taste good, right? Because she was depressed. So yeah, I went and got a different chick. I like a month into sexlessness. Dr. Girlfriend because it sucked.
So instead of denying the allegations or presenting evidence to show that he didn't cheat, he straight up confirmed that he did cheat. But as if cheating on his girlfriend wasn't bad enough, he not only refused to take any responsibility, but also tried to make it seem like he was the victim in all of this. According to Maurice, he cheated because Dr. Girlfriend wasn't a good partner because of her depression, with a commenter stating, bruh, cheating on someone that is depressed makes it even worse. But for the sake of argument, let's assume for a second that he was truly unhappy with Dr. Girlfriend. Even then, there is zero justification for him cheating on her. If he was genuinely unhappy with their relationship, he could have broken up with her first, and then got involved with whoever he wanted after that. By the end, his decision to cheat on his depressed girlfriend and then use the situation.
Yeah, that's the shit I don't get, you know? Why even cheat? I mean, that's just a sign of cowardice. It's like you're too afraid to, like, break up with somebody, but you still want to get the rocks off of someone that's... And it's cowardice. Cowards. Cowardice is listening. As personality traits. So it's like, I mean, cowardice encapsulates a lot.
From this website years later left even his most loyal fans with a bad taste in their mouths. However, this was only the first of many mess-ups that led to his utter decline. For some additional context, one of the primary factors that fueled his growth between 2014 and 2016 was his relationship with his friends. Fans of the channel adored their interactions and were thoroughly entertained by their antics. However, by 2018, Maurice managed to somehow destroy his relationship with every single member of the original group. Dr. Girlfriend obviously stopped appearing in Blasphemous' videos after their breakup, but since Maurice believes Skitten was the one who told Dr. Girlfriend about him cheating, both Skitten and Chavez stopped associating with him as well.
You make up all these lies for who knows what? Nobody cares. People are completely content with, we had a falling out, because it's what happened. They want the details, they don't need the details. It's hurtful details. You cheated on your ex, and you took it out on your friends, and you lied to one of your best friends. You said, oh, he wasn't my best friend, blah, blah, blah. I didn't trust him that much. Dude, we saw each other for like 13 hours, 7 days a week for 8 months.
And it was only a matter of time before Randy left the group as well. And just like with the breakup, fans of the channel were once again left guessing the reason why the entire group separated out of nowhere. They would eventually get the answers about Chavez and Skitten when they exposed Maurice for cheating on Dr. Girlfriend in 2018. However, it would take another 3 years before Brandy and Randy would come forward with their stories. As we discussed earlier, when Maurice responded to Chavez and Skitten's expose, he tried to blame blamed them for everything that happened between him and Dr. Girlfriend. This encouraged Brandy to come forward with her side of the story and share her experience working with Maurice on his channel and as his editor.
Blasphemous HD decided to make a video promoting his website and then bringing up some shit that happened a long ass time ago, for one. But then two, why would you need to say any other things that you said? Like, it's just a bunch of extra shit that had nothing to do with the fight that they had. We're all basically no longer friends because he cheated on his girlfriend.
In her hour-long video titled The Truth About Blasphemous HD, Brandy talked about how Maurice's personality took a sharp downturn after gaining wealth and success from YouTube. She also revealed that Maurice would essentially force members of the group to do things they weren't comfortable with, all in the name of content.
So yeah, when we were doing that, super awkward. I don't know if you guys can tell, like, from the video.
Let's do this. Hurry up, Brandy. Mount me. Let's do this. I don't want to do it.
If I look awkward, I mean, I'm laughing and I'm like, because I'm going with the video.
And how did Maurice respond to this? By laughing maniacally and acting like a deranged, immature child.
Hurry up, Brandy. Mount me. Let's do this.
Following this, Brandy made a part 2 to her video, this time with another former member of the Blasphemous group, Randy Jackson. This time she revealed even more details of her awful experience working under Maurice. Apparently, Maurice was even cutting her salary near the end of her employment, likely just to be petty.
He asked me to quit my job to come edit, and I didn't do that. I took some time off. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not getting paid for my job, and I can't just go back because I already have this time, and you're cutting my pay. So he cut my pay. Then right after that, he fired me because he got mad.
However, stealing wages paled in comparison to what Brandy and Randy hinted at later in the video. In part 1, Brandy mentioned how Maurice was more than willing to buy alcohol for her and her friends, even though they were underage.
We became friends because he was older than us. He could already buy alcohol for us because he was of age and we were all like underage, right? So like we couldn't get alcohol.
As it turns out, buying alcohol for minors was just the tip of the iceberg, because after getting drunk with the underage girls, he would allegedly try to get handsy with them under the guise of, quote, playing.
Niggas in upstairs in his boxes or whatever.
Give us Babylon, please. Oh, god damn it.
And so like when I got there, I had to edit the fucking embarrassing. I had to edit out the fight and shit. Or not the fight, but him yelling at me. There was a lot of me editing out certain jokes that he would make. I just feel like maybe that joke shouldn't be told and it's a little inappropriate. And he's like, well, I tell inappropriate jokes.
Like Skyline too.
I know. But I just felt like that one in particular.
Child endangerment.
Oh, was inappropriate. But I'll put it back.
If true, buying alcohol for minors is one thing, but then proceeding to flirt with them is a whole nother level of depravity. Even if we give them the absolute benefit of the doubt and assume it was all a joke, it's still extremely inappropriate and downright criminal. About 30 minutes into the video, both Randy and Brandy also called out Maurice for doing some unspeakable things behind closed doors, essentially accusing him of being a PDF file indirectly.
We're not gonna out what it is.
We already did.
That you're doing. Okay, you know what we're talking about.
Weapons free, people.
We're just not
Make them hate us.
Stop. Don't do it. No more.
Whether this particular allegation is true or not, it still doesn't change the fact that Maurice is not a good person, and even most loyal fans were unable to defend him from anything that had come out against him at this point, whether that be cheating on his girlfriend.
We're gonna be watching a video about Ethan Klein, and I would give it like a year or something. About how his whole audience turned on him for like just an asshole.
12 o'clock.
Oh!
Damn it, lost police.
And trying to play the victim card instead of taking responsibility, exploiting this controversy to promote his website, forcing his friends to do things they weren't comfortable with, stealing wages from his editor, or buying alcohol for underage girls and allegedly being inappropriate with them. There was simply too much for any longtime fan to handle, leading to almost all of them abandoning Maurice's many channels to die a slow, painful death. This even made some fans question how they could ever support such a bad person. But that's just it. From everything we've seen, Maurice wasn't like this from the start. Think of it this way. If he was abusive and disrespectful from the start, he would never gather a group of friends, let alone make content with them for multiple years. So this begs the question, what changed? Why did he go from a normal person to someone who had zero respect for the feelings of others around him? The answer to that, like most other things in life, is money. He simply let success and money get to his head, where he started seeing everyone else as beneath him.
Just can't surround myself with people who not only, you know what I mean, like I can understand if a little shit for himself, but if it don't work for me, like that's when I gotta get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? You know, I like success. I'm not gonna sit down and not release videos and not work out. Too bitter, bro. Fuck it out with him. Yo, Elijah the Great. Suck it. Yeah, that nigga can go himself, and I would not care. Randy himself, I would not care.
But here's the thing. The sad reality of the internet is that you can be an awful person and still retain a large portion of your audience. Just look at Logan Paul. He's extremely successful even after a mountain of controversies, including stealing millions of dollars from his fans through crypto scams. Not to downplay his actions, but most of what Blasphemous HD did to his friends feels like nothing compared to every terrible thing Logan has done over the years. What sets Maurice apart from Logan is that he allowed his inflated ego to ruin his content as well. After the 2016 fallout with his friends, there was bound to be a major decline in quality of content Maurice could produce on his own, but it was still salvageable. There was definitely an audience for his bold reactions and unique storytime videos. However, before he could successfully steer the ship solo, it got hit by a torpedo and sank to the bottom. Blasphemous HD TV, his main channel with over 2 million subscribers, got permanently suspended by YouTube for copyright issues and hate speech. This was a massive blow to his overall YouTube empire. Fortunately, this ban was not extended to any of his other channels, so he still had a solid platform to facilitate a comeback. Unfortunately for his fans, Maurice was done putting in effort. After the ban, he started posting reaction videos on his second biggest channel, Blasphemous HD TV 2. However, this time, his energetic and analytical approach to reactions was now replaced with minutes of silence and empty laughs as the Try Not to Laugh and Family Guy clip played in the corner.
Tango front.
Don't right on that.
Calling this type of content slop would be an understatement, but he continued uploading the same soulless videos over and over again. Considering his inflated ego, it's probably the reason behind his decline in content quality as well. He likely thought that people would just keep watching no matter how little effort he put into his content. In doing so, he neglected the fact that he initially became successful because of his personality and commentary, not because of the content he was reacting to. And now that there was zero personality in his reactions, audiences had no reason to watch him. Plus, the 160th reaction to funny TikTok compilations is bound to get stale. At this point, Blasphemous HD is a husk of what it used to be. However, a few of his former viewers are nostalgic about the peak years of his content and wish to see more of what it used to be. With a Reddit comment reading, "I used to watch Blast all the time from 2016 to 2018. It's just not the same anymore." For most of his former viewers, however, Blasphemous HD TV has become a relic of the past, and they have very little interest in revisiting it. One person perfectly summarized the public sentiment on Reddit, stating, "That's all his channel has become, a load of boring reactions and him reacting to the same old videos pretending he's never seen them before. His viewership has not only declined because of that, but because of how he is as a person, how poorly he treats his friends, and even cheated on his own girlfriend because she was depressed, and is lying to his own fans, trying to play the victim card to fool his supporters and make them look stupid. It's sad to see this chaotic downfall of Blasphemous, but at the end of the day, he did this to himself, and he has no one else to blame but himself. So, is there any more hope for Maurice? Well, technically speaking, yes, there is. He can try to reinvent himself by putting more effort into his content to capture a brand new audience, one that is unaware of his history. A comeback of that magnitude would require significant effort, even if he were fully committed to making the necessary changes. However, this seems less plausible, given that he threatened to throw acid water on Umdontai in October of this year, with a tweet from Umdontai reading, "Why are you in your Discord, Blasphemous HD, threatening to throw acid water on me and talking about my wife, huh?" Looking at Blasphemous' channel now, despite having 1.78 million subscribers, he's struggling to even break 10,000 views per video, and doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon.
To maintain a demographic majority.
This is why I always say the greatest threat to Israel, it's Los Angeles. It is New York. it is Boca Raton. Like, why the fuck would you be like, yeah, I want to go and live in Israel if you're like, I love the situation in America, okay? It's just like very hard to shake people off this notion. All right. Let's watch how Israel uses sex to sell Zionism from uncivilized.
Sex to sell Zionism, to convince people that Israel is a hot fantasy being realized by hot people, not a racist settler colony built on the killing, displacement, and erasure of the indigenous Palestinians. This is intentional, and there are 3 reasons why. They involve Israel's invention in the past, cover-up in the present, and survival for the future.
I'm actually 100% behind
And this all started when Zionists first started plotting for the creation of a Jewish homeland in the late 1800s. For centuries in Europe, stereotypes of Jews were that they were weak, pale, and frail. And the Zionist movement came to see it this way too, widely criticizing the weak, old Jew. In 1898, at the Second Zionist Congress in Switzerland, the co-founder of the Congress, Max Nordau, called for a new Judaism, a muscular Judaism, and invented the idea of the new Jew. This Jew would be rugged, muscular, strong, and tanned, and would have the mental and physical strength to realize the goals of Zionism and colonize Palestine. They called themselves Sabra, the prickly pear fruit in Hebrew, to represent what they saw this new Jew to be.
If we had watched this, we would have known what Sabra actually means, because I didn't know until I didn't know that there was a definition of Sabra beyond the dog hummus until the Sabra hummus gate, the peak of anti-Semitism that has occurred in the world, really. The worst incident of anti-Semitism that anyone has ever seen, that landed, 5 people in Twitch prison for 30 days. Oh my God.
On the outside, but tender-hearted and sensitive on the inside. And, of course, native to the land. Of course, the Sabr, as it's called in Arabic, is a fruit indigenous to Palestine, appropriated for the Zionist fantasy of indigeneity. But anyway.
The men who came out to found this colony had never handled a plow, but they were possessed by 3 ideals: land, liberty, and labor.
It is these new Jews that created the Zionist militias that planned and orchestrated the Nakba, the mass-scale killing and displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, ending with the creation of Israel. And those same militias would become the Israeli army, the violent occupying force overseeing the colonization of Palestine today. And it's through this army that the visual of the new Jew lives on. But then with time, this visual became the only visual of Israel. This was a problem. In the early 2000s, surveys in the US were showing that Israel had a big PR problem with men aged 18 to 35 who just saw Israel as a conflict zone and weren't interested. So another rebrand was due, and the solution this time was bikinis. In 2007, the Foreign Ministry and the Ministry of Tourism arranged for a photo spread in Maxim magazine, one of the most popular men's lifestyle magazines at the time. The brains behind this initiative at the Israeli consulate in New York said the models were, quote, a Trojan horse to present Israel as a modern country with nice beaches and pretty women. This video is from the official Israel in New York YouTube channel.
So you should come to Israel. We have a beautiful country, great food, great culture. Come to Israel. Beautiful girls as well. See you at the party.
This strategy, also called bikini diplomacy, has been seen all over since, with Israel constantly selling the image of a liberal, free country where it's always summer, where the days are full of beaches, bikinis, and chiseled bodies, and the nights are spent in an incredible nightlife scene open to anyone and everyone. In the face of this fantasy, Palestinians come off like a backwards, pesky nuisance trying to disrupt this liberal orgy utopia, not like colonized people looking for freedom and dignity. But that was in a time before social media, where only the powerful had access to a platform. Times have changed, and so the sexy offensive has had to adapt.
I mean, I can still enjoy the sexy offensive while saying that the IDF shouldn't exist. Because if the IDF didn't exist, those fine girls would still exist. I'm spraying.
over TikTok and Instagram, you can find videos of Israeli soldiers posting thirst traps or dancing videos. Some of them act independently, while others are part of a concerted effort putting attractive women in the occupation forces in the public eye. Like the women at Alpha Gun Angels, a gun modeling and social media marketing agency who sell being a colonial foot soldier as a sexy lifestyle.
But listen, I've been in the army, I'm Israeli, I'm tough.
Thirst traps aren't only reserved for women, but for weapons as well. And beyond selling sex, they're selling colonial occupation as fun, relatable, and empowering. They love gay pride content, girl boss content, and jumping on TikTok trends. Of course, the great irony is that none of these liberal values are extended to Palestinians. They live under occupation, regardless of what they identify as. In that, colonialism does not discriminate. When the Palestinian reality started reaching people around the world, the strategy had to change. Whereas the goal before might have been to rebrand and repackage Israel, the goal now is to distract and whitewash. So bikinis were traded in for military uniforms. Fine, military occupation is a part of the reality, but it's not what you think. It's empowering and fun and sexy. Do you really think people this fun, young, and free would have it in them to commit war crimes? The public
Waifu, get in, loser. We're going to capture some Muhammads. Dude, so much of it is just like unrestricted Islamophobia too, because it's so normalized. You could just like get away with it all the time. Just actively dehumanizing the enemy is really up. What? Logs, please, sir. Really important, please. Read, could you have Eli Valley on? Just look up diaspora boy delves into the white, constructed sexual and masculine created Israeli identity, which is all about this. His talk was amazing on it. I could, Domination. Yeah. Eli Valley is the GOAT. A big fan of his for quite some time. Incredible cartoonist. Yeah.
Perception of Israel is essential to its survival, but so is something else. That there are enough settlers there to keep up the colonizing. That brings us to the final reason Israel uses sex to sell Zionism. So Jewish Zionists have more kids with other Jewish Zionists. Have you ever heard of birthright? It's an all-expenses paid trip to Israel that young Jews across the world are eligible for.
Doesn't seem like an Israel-only thing, though you see that everywhere, especially now in Europe. Oh, absolutely. No, this is directly a consequence of 9/11. Like, this is post 9/11. Like, Orientalization obviously has always played a major role. Orientalism has played a major role in Israeli culture, certainly, right? In dehumanizing Arabs. Like, they've been doing this for 76 years. At this point, it's like, you know, you can't keep up a apartheid regime without actively dehumanizing the other. Having said that, however, the onslaught of Islamophobic, anti-Arab Orientalization, the Orientalist propaganda, paired up with a healthy dose of Western chauvinism, that was the underpinning of the global war on terror, that justified the global war on terror. That faucet opened up post 9/11, okay, for the rest of the world, I mean. And I think that plays a pretty good, like a pretty important role in a lot of the defense of Israel. That oftentimes is not even a defense of Israel's actions at all, but instead is directly offense against those who have been branded as enemies of Israel, right? And you see it. I mean, you see it in this community quite frequently. This is something that I have to deal with on a regular basis. The idea that, like, you know, we have already created the terrorism designation, and that carries a lot of weight with it, and it's actively, you know, it's actively deployed in a way to undermine the positions of people who are offering any sort of context or nuance to how. Where did this guy come from? What did he say? What if I have Islamophobia? You're giving no reasons to why e.g. an atheist shouldn't be afraid of Sharia and Salafist jihadis. I'm a Western civilian. I'm Islamophobic. I don't know why you say this is some problem. We don't have to ban this guy immediately. Okay. As far as like the underlying Islamophobia that you have, just so you understand, you are basically saying, like, okay, I'm a Western man living in, living in the United States of America. Like, yeah, I'm afraid of black people. Like, what of it? It's the same exact principle. It's just bigotry of a different sort. The fundamentals there, however, is choosing not to understand this massive population of people and the diversity of opinion within this massive population of people and monolithizing them, while in the process of identifying silly things that you misunderstand, like Sharia, right? And also then pointing to Salafist jihadists, okay? Like, what percentage of Muslims are Salafist jihadists? It is equivalent to assuming every single Christian is a Westboro Baptist Church member, okay? Every single Christian globally is a Westboro Baptist Church member who is actively also engaged in racialized hate crimes, right? You're pointing to a tiny, minuscule percentage, okay? 98% of Muslims are great, but what about the radicals? Islam I don't like, especially not the Salafi jihadists. Groups like Hezbollah are radical. You're grouping people like Hezbollah with Salafi jihadists, which is hilarious because this is what I mean all the time when I say, like, reactionary thinking is illogical and Islamophobia of this sort is unironically causing you to misunderstand the situation. Hezbollah is an enemy of Salafist jihadists, like a very active enemy of Salafist jihadists. Now, you might consider them to be fundamentalist as well, even though they are Shia, which is a totally different sect, and in their day-to-day practical application and their associations or like the actions they take, you know, they are diametrically at odds with Salafist jihadists. Salafist jihadists, on the other hand, for the most part, are also fundamentalists of the Sunni variety that are directly backed by the American State Department, okay? Like in order to have these conversations, I have to describe to you all of these different concepts that you have fundamentally misunderstood, and then have you be charitable every step of the way so that you can actively relearn what the correct definitions of these things are, okay? Sharia is an application of religious doctrine, okay, for any number of different laws. For the most part, it was heavily localized, okay? Most Muslim countries do not engage in Sharia law, and Sharia law is not what you understand it as, for the record. Okay, but there is not like a real application. Sharia in its actual application comes from centralization that occurred after Western colonialism in a lot of these areas that were Muslim in general. As far as Muslim Brotherhood and Salafist jihadists are both radical and both want to enforce Sharia over everyone, I think this has no bearing on the overwhelming majority of Muslims that are living their day-to-day experiences, their day-to-day lives, as much as direct undermining of the entirety of the Muslim world, with some exceptions, by Western imperialism. If you're constantly at threat of destabilization, or if your government that doesn't really capture your interests whatsoever has been completely captured by the American State Department, for example, if you're just a client state that is kept incredibly poor, not allowed to develop, and the people's wishes are not necessarily, the people's demands and wishes are never represented in those governments, but those governments never go away because they get American military contracts and American weapons, and they can violently squash any sort of dissent. You will never be able to arrive at civil liberties and a civil rights movement in any of these countries, despite the fact that there are very real interests in the same exact ways that we had in the United States of America in fixing and modernizing a lot of these societies. Having said that, Islamophobia also dictates the false notion that like every single one of these Muslim majority countries are the exact same. But we are under control over the CI. People's demands and wishes aren't represented. We still have a sort of colonialist government. Wait, what? I think it's also additionally ironic to have this conversation when we are watching Christian theocracy overtake the United States of America by a guy who's not really religious at all, but is utilizing that as a weapon and has done it now successfully twice, okay? Like, you have Christian nationalism as a nascent movement. At a time when religiosity has gone down in the United States of America, Christian nationalism is thriving at the tippy top of American society. And you're literally watching material conditions get undermined in a meaningful way in the United States of America, which is the wealthiest nation on earth. Even a place like this that has solid infrastructure and has been the dominant force, the global hegemonic superpower for the past century at this point almost. And even here, you watch people's living conditions worsen and Christian nationalism grow in a openly fascist way, but you cannot comprehend how that could manifest in countries that have been bombed into oblivion, okay? That's it. The question I have for many liberal, progressive-minded people in this chat is, do you agree with Donald Trump? Do you agree with the way that Donald Trump is redirecting society? Or do you understand how maybe even your immediate relatives have felt, have fallen captive to the alluring nature of American fascism and Christian nationalism? Maybe some of them are voting for Donald Trump because they don't believe that he is actually he is going to implement Christian Sharia, okay? Maybe some of them are voting for that exact same reason. But ultimately, it's not your wishes being represented by the government, right? If you can understand this in the United States of America, you should be able to understand this in all of these other nations that are being also, on top of everything else, destroyed deliberately, actively, through direct boots on the ground military warfare. That's my point. Treat everybody like normal human beings. If you don't have the capacity to understand where people are coming from, try to draw parallels within your own experience. This is at the heart of my commentary. And I think when you understand that, you recognize that it's not about Islam at all. It's not about Islam whatsoever. All religion is subject to interpretation. Religion is just a galvanizing principle. It can be used for good. It can be used for bad, okay? These countries do not become fundamentalist because of Islam. They become fundamentalist because they are led by fundamentalist forces, sometimes directly propped up by the United States of America with foreign intervention, or as a direct consequence of being the only game in town that will actively fight against foreign invaders, like in the case in Iran, and foreign interference in the case of Iran. That's it. And unfortunately, it's a never-ending cycle of violence that we recreate, basically, and then we look at the results of said violence, and then we turn around and say they're barbaric. We have to keep doing this to them. We have to keep doing this violence to them. But ultimately, it's illogical. So if you care about critical thinking, if you care about being logical, okay, you have to try and understand how people get to the points that they're in, and whether or not people are actually fond of these groups. Ultimately, there is a reason that I talk about Ansar Allah in Yemen quite a bit. The Ansar Allah movement, once again, backed by Iran to a certain degree, is a minority leadership, okay? And the other factions inside of Yemen directly engaged in war in Yemen that caused endless famine and has been considered a genocide by international organizations, international human rights organizations, right? Saudi Arabia and the UAE had their own individual forces they were backing, they were arming, and that they were funding and also offering logistical support to. America was giving both Saudi Arabia and UAE the support necessary so that they could support the Yemeni population and the militia movements there. But what caused Ansar Allah to become the official government of Yemen? What caused the uprisings basically to end and everyone to put down their weapons and stop fighting with one another and engage in I guess some semblance of unity? It was the Ansar Allah government's actions against the state of Israel after Israel declared genocide on Gaza, okay? Aren't you doing a whataboutism, though? Can't we just agree that any theocracy is silly and often leads to the subjugation and persecution of types of people? No, I'm not doing a whataboutism. It's not whataboutism when I'm directly explaining the historical context in which how people arrive at a theocratic form of governance. What are you talking about? You just learned a word, okay, and you think you can apply it in this circle. circumstance. I'm not doing whataboutism in this situation. I'm directly explaining to you the historical framework as to how countries become theocracies to begin with. Historical analysis, when directly talking about the countries, especially when we're talking about Islamophobia, is not whataboutism. It's just historical analysis. Yeah, my Iranian-American wife was elected to the State House last cycle. Her centrist opponent said she may be beholden to the Ayatollah during their debate. Most of the audience didn't even notice or get that it was a ridiculous statement. Islamophobia is out of control even in liberal circles. Yes. Does that make sense, chatter? I'll shut up for now and I thank you, but I hope you understand. Many are afraid of religion and extremists within, especially Islam. I don't wish to be, but there's literally extremists who want to kill others. I understand. It's by and large to blame on Western influence. Also, the same could be applied to Christians. I also think Christian groups in Africa, some Christian groups in Africa are scary. Okay, brother, here's the difference. Here's the other side of this conversation that you also don't understand, but I think you're close to getting it, okay? We live in a Christian nation that is overwhelmingly dominated by white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. That is in our history, right? In the United States of America. When George W. Bush says, God told me to invade Afghanistan, okay? Or when the Republican Party is backed by a white evangelical Christian Protestant base of support that believes in the rapture and has a theological justification for its endless support for Israel, for example, we do not read that as like the entirety of the American Christian movement. We don't look at the war on terror as a global Christian jihad against Muslims, right? We don't see that as that because we live in it. So we have the capacity to understand that these are some people who believe this kind of insane shit, okay? And that most normal people don't agree with it, and that we don't really have a democratic voice in this process. But you never extend that level of charitability and analysis and nuance to the Muslim world. That's the point, okay? That's it. You understand? True, I find that scary, but they don't target me. Yes, at least you're recognizing why you don't see it in the same way, though. That's it. And my goal here is to explain to people. My goal here is to explain to people that like people are just the same everywhere. Okay, they are. If they were brought into the same material circumstances, they would have very similar results. They would have very similar outcomes in general. But the notion that like extremist Muslims could target you and present a serious threat to you is also silly. Like a lot of people say this about Hamas, right? Hamas are religious fundamentalists. Like not every single person in Hamas is a religious fundamentalist. Many have been radicalized directly as a consequence of Israel killing their family members. Having said that, though, Hamas has never operated outside of the boundaries of Gaza because they can't leave Gaza with ease. Okay? And they have a singular purpose, which is the end of the Israeli apartheid, the end of Israeli sovereignty over Palestinian lands. Okay? Not only is this an emancipatory desire, it is a singular focus of all Palestinian resistance groups. And the hilarity over here, when you're living in the resurgence of the American Taliban, okay? When you're living in the, when you're staring directly at like the Christian fundamentalists dominating your lives in very meaningful ways, you think, you are taught to think that like Hamas presents a much greater danger to you. Okay, they're over there, the same with the Houthis. People talk about the Houthis being like this ever-present danger to the American suburbs almost. And it's like, it's laughable. And it's the same as the Taliban too. You gotta worry about Al-Qaeda, not Al-Qaeda, okay? You gotta worry about the American Taliban, not the actual Taliban over in Afghanistan. You gotta worry about the jihad, not jihad. And yet, I think this hyper-focus on Islam with a false understanding that like it's scary, okay, and that every single person in the Muslim world believes every single principle of ISIS, which does not represent Islam at all, and is more actively dismissed and fought against by the people there because they don't end up killing that many Americans or even Israelis really, and the Israeli government has actively collaborated with ISIS-style Salafist movements in the region, specifically in Syria. Okay, they kill Muslims, they kill Yazidis, they kill other people in the region. They don't kill Westerners, okay? That's the overwhelming majority of the victims of ISIS. And that's precisely the reason why many people despise them. Meanwhile, when you go to the Western world, most people that don't really pay attention to this stuff think every Muslim is like ISIS. You have to look at it in a rational manner and understand the real danger, right? Sharia law was not created after Western colonization. It was implemented based on Muhammad and the Quran by many scholars in the 7th century. I'm a Muslim, by the way. You're looking for an insight? No. I said Sharia law and its understanding in the Western world is very different than its practical application in areas where it was heavily localized. Every locality had very different opinions on what kind of laws that they might implement. Okay, Americans, when they think Sharia law, they think hands are getting chopped off if you steal anything. They think that like women are getting killed, they're getting stoned to death over and over and over again, and they're thinking beheadings. Okay, having said that, Sharia law, while I disagree because I am a secular person myself, I do on principle disagree with like a religious application of or any sort of laws applied because of an interpretation of religious dogma. I don't agree with that on principle. I disagree with it, obviously. But having said that, if you want to understand, historically speaking, this was never a real doctrine applied universally across the globe, and even past the point of local Sharia governance, okay? Like, that was very different from region to region, or even locality to locality. The centralization of Sharia as a religious code to be applied into any sort of like real governance came after the point of colonialism. Okay, the explanation you gave of Christian Sharia law and the Al-Qaeda was perfectly effective in getting my normie family members to chill about this shit. It does put things into perspective. Yes. Aisha Esquire, thank you for the 5 with the subs. Aisha Esquire also says any ethno state is bad and government will corrupt religion and vice versa. Yes. The problem in these circumstances is that like when material conditions worsen, just like in the United States of America, the reactionary movements grow, okay? And religious fundamentalists take advantage of that, always. And that is historic. That is historically important, and that's precisely what happens everywhere. In America, it's Christians. You know, in the Muslim world, it's, of course, Muslim fundamentalists. Also, doesn't Sharia mean law? So Sharia law just means law. Yeah. It's like saying chai tea. Chai is just tea, or non-bread. Or I guess the English version of it is ATM machine. If only people understood, they shouldn't conflate Islam with conservatism. Exactly. My anger and my frustration always has been with reactionary ideals, conservatism. Okay? And that is a universal principle that I apply. If you don't think that there are progressive people in these Muslim nations, if you don't think that there are gay people in these Muslim nations, trans people in these Muslim nations, feminists in these Muslim nations, you're wrong. Of course they exist. And there are massive numbers. It's just not broadly represented depending on which country you're talking about. I didn't even finish this how Israel uses sex to sell Zionism thing. I don't know how the we got to Islamophobia because that one chatter chimed in church, and I hope it was a somewhat productive session that caused people to develop a better understanding and appreciation of where I'm coming from. But let's round this up real quick.
As long as they're between 18 and 26.
Thousands of Birthright Israel participants filling the seashore with endless smiles, scholars, accents, and 10 bodies.
I didn't really have a connection to the homeland, and I came here, and just everybody's so great, and I'm just like overcome with like connection. It's like you're high on Zionism. I am really high right now.
The trip is sold as a journey home for young Jews to connect with Israel on an emotional and adventurous 10-day itinerary where they're accompanied by Israeli soldiers. That's not a coincidence. In the early days of Birthright, the billionaire co-founder Charles Bronfman said, quote, he was bothered that the kids on those early trips weren't bonding with their Israeli peers. His answer was developing the mifgash, the encounter, between Jewish-Israeli teams and their diaspora counterparts. These encounters move very fast to what we call hormonal mifgashing. Things happen.
Countless romances from the trips have blossomed into serious relationships and even marriages.
And it looks like these boys and girls like each other a lot. I mean, you might have a lot of Jewish babies coming out of this trip. Eventually, a lot of marriages, a lot of relationships. Is that part of it?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be eventually. It can be tonight.
It's not a coincidence that intimacy is a part of the trip. Participants spend the whole trip with Israeli soldiers intentionally chosen to be attractive. They're taken out for nights of drinking and dancing, and some even spend the night in a fake Bedouin tent, quote, where participants sleep crowded together, a setup conducive to first kisses.
I remember even on the trip that I attended, there were two Israeli soldiers who clearly were into each other. Like they very much had a vibe. And someone made a joke on the trip that you have to save yourselves for the Americans, basically clarifying that they were there to seduce us.
So why is coupling so encouraged on these?
This is, by the way, exactly what Israelism, the documentary, is about as well, and how birthright plays a formative role in
Ethan and Neela?
in basically creating this association with Israel amongst young American Jews, funded in large part by American Christians, but that's besides the point.
These trips. Well, the originator of the idea for birthright said one of his main goals was to, quote, create a situation whereby spouses are available, because at the time, intermarriage between Jews and non-Jews was at a high, which isn't great when you're trying to build an ethnocracy. To maintain a demographic majority.
Jewish Bag says, this is why I didn't go. I'm gay. Bro, I went on Birthright. It's so funny watching it being broken down. Bro, if you're... Dude, this is why I always say the greatest threat to Israel is not Iran, is not Hamas, is not Hezbollah, okay? It's Los Angeles. It is New York. It is Boca Raton. That's it. Why would you be like, yeah, I want to go and live in Israel if you're like, I love the situation in America, okay? It's great. I am an American. This is a question I present to some of my normie Jewish friends all the time, which is, you're American. The are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? It's just like very hard to shake people off this this notion, okay?
Over Palestinians, Israel needs Jews to make more Jews. So what better way to encourage reproduction and immigration than through a coming-of-age, euphoric, emotional, and adventurous trip? The reality of Israel's nation-building story is violence, displacement, dispossession, colonization, and...
When I first saw Midsommar, one of my buddies who was watching with me was like, holy, this is exactly like what happened on Birthright regarding the whole baby-making shit in Midsommar. Yeah.
Settlement. That's not a great brand. In order to get settlers invested in the vision and try to secure the future, sex is a great tool. Beauty and aesthetics and fun are great marketing tactics, and they have tangible outcomes, like more babies. More babies means more people to get conscripted to the occupation forces and maintain the oppressive military infrastructure necessary for Israel to exist. And what better way to convince people to at least look the other way, and at most participate, than by making it sexy?
They not select people for birthright chibs? Is they're ugly? I don't know the selection process, but yeah, it's short and to the point. It's great. That was, what was the, wait, hold on.
For a long time.
Oh, that was Uncivilized, which has a bunch of banger videos, by the way, including how Vietnam teaches Palestine to fight invaders. They have a bunch of really cool videos. But the video that we just watched is how Israel uses sex to sell Zionism. How Trump used WWE tactics to win. I'm not going to watch that right now, but yeah. How do I reconcile pro-Israel Jewish friends? I know it's easy to dismiss someone online, but when he's my friend, it's different. He's not bloodthirsty, but is it immoral to remain friends knowing he won't budge? I mean, just be normal, dude. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you guys to just like completely write out people that you know. You should always try to talk to them, and slowly but surely you can convince them and change their minds. You know, I almost went on Birthright. Kind of glad I didn't go, though. I wonder if I had gone, would I have been radicalized sooner? Because I had zero idea that Israel was an apartheid state. I don't know. I've never been on Birthright, so I have no idea what it's like.
How do you justify the unjustifiable? What do you do when you are completely committed to defending a state, no matter what it does, when what it's doing makes doing that increasingly difficult, and when trying to do so will invariably make you come off as more than a little bit ridiculous, as well as a Goebbels tier genocide propagandist? It turns out that that self-assigned job is really quite difficult, and I'm going to go over some examples here that show just how hard of a task these brave pro-genocide propagandists have committed themselves to in their fanatical, never-ending quest to justify, downplay, apologize for, or deny anything they think they possibly can regarding the ongoing Gaza genocide. This video was made possible thanks to my supporters on Patreon and Ko-fi. If you like it and you'd like to see more like it, consider heading over there and supporting me yourself. This is Israel's self-appointed lawyer, the YouTuber Lonerbox. He has taken it upon himself to do every possible thing that he can to defend Israel's Gaza genocide. You are about to see him attempt his best defense of the revelation from a New York Times investigation that Israeli soldiers have intentionally been massacring children in droves via single, precise shots to the head. Multiple doctors and nurses who spend time serving in Gaza hospitals during the genocide attested to the fact that between them, they had seen many dozens, upwards of 100 in total, cases of children shot in the head. And they provided the New York Times with x-rays that show these injuries, as well as photographic evidence, which the Times considered too graphic to publish, of these children's gunshot wounds to the head. The evidence that this is a systemic practice of the Israeli military in Gaza is quite overwhelming. So how does a pro-genocide propagandist deal with this? Let's take a look. Here is the reaction of Israel's lawyer to seeing political commentator Mehdi Hassan bring this up in a debate.
3 American doctors went to Gaza. Dr. Fayaz Sidwa, Dr. Irfan Galaria, and a Jewish American doctor called Dr. Mark Perlmutter. All of them came back at separate times, said children were brought into hospitals we were in with gunshot to the head, sniper shots. Perfect. Exact targets. There is no tunnel that justifies shooting toddlers in the head. Israeli snipers.
Does this guy not know how sniping jobs work? Like, the problem with sniping isn't, like, the accuracy is not because obviously you got your scope and the fucking, like, yeah, it's quite easy. You can accurately snipe, but targets and personnel move really, really fast when you're sniping. Like, snipers make their decisions in less than a split second in combat situations. Unless he's suggesting there were just a couple of kids sitting on the hill and a guy opposite in a building just went, got him, take him out. Maybe someone committed a war crime. But I don't think that's Israeli policy, is to snipe kids for no reason, to snipe toddlers, but okay.
Okay, so the rebuttal there is that apparently this is just happening by accident. Israeli snipers are accidentally shooting hundreds of kids in the head because they are mistaking them for fighters or something. And apparently this guy is a sniper expert, and that's how he knows this is happening. It really is that simple.
Does this guy not know how sniping jobs work?
Now, refuting this on a factual basis seems redundant and stupid to even do, because it's clear that he's just making this up in the moment. It's not really a serious argument or anything. He's just desperate to defend anything that Israel does, and that's just what happened to come to his mind in that moment. Nonetheless, it can be refuted on a factual basis. You aim for the head in an assassination when you are sure that you have the shot, and your aim is not to disable the target as a threat, but rather to ensure a kill. In a combat situation, if these were militants who pose a threat, the aim first and foremost is to disable them as a threat, rather than to kill them. And the head is a much smaller target than the body, so it is far safer to aim for the body. So there being so many headshots makes it very, very clear that these are deliberate, targeted killings of children. You do not accidentally precisely aim at the head of a child and pull the trigger hundreds of times. Not that it would stop being a war crime if they were killing hundreds of preteen children with body shots by any means. And it would also be quite obvious anyway, looking through a sniper scope, that you are looking at a child and not a militant. To precisely aim for the head line up a shot, take the shot, and hit it, not just once, but hundreds of times, indicates a level of intent that can only reasonably be described as systematic. But what is Israel's lawyer's argument for why he thinks that despite that overwhelming evidence, it's actually not so obvious? Well,
but I don't think that's Israeli policy, is to snipe kids for no reason, to snipe toddlers, but okay.
You heard right. Just that he thinks Israel wouldn't do it. That's all. That's all he needs. They wouldn't do it. I don't believe they would do it. Evidence be damned. They are not doing it. I said so. Case closed. There's a clear implication there which should be obvious to anyone who is familiar with the rhetoric of pro-Israel propagandists, that also implying that they would do that intentionally is anti-Semitic. And this sort of claim is very oft-repeated. For example, in this tweet by another pro-Israel propagandist who was very adamant that Israel would simply never kill a child intentionally. It's impossible. They've just committed tens of thousands of unfortunate accidents, systematically, in a clear pattern over the course of a year. Or this abhorrent Guardian article where another pro-Israel propagandist explicitly argues that the media citing factual information about Israel murdering children is a form of anti-Semitic blood libel. Now, Israel's lawyer isn't quite as explicit as that guy was, but the implication is there. He knows what he's doing. The others who do the same thing know what they're doing. The best argument that they have is that in spite of all the evidence that makes it clear as day that they are in fact doing this, they wouldn't do it. After all, they're Jewish. Jewish people can't commit atrocities like everyone else. How dare you imply otherwise? Aside from massacring children, women, men, the elderly, babies, pretty much anyone they can get their hands on, Israel has also been making their defenders' jobs quite a bit harder by just plain making shit up all the time. Whether it's elaborate, obviously fake 3D renderings of Hamas command centers under a hospital, which they then use to justify multiple massacres committed at that hospital, or making ludicrous claims like Palestinians massacring 40 babies, the job of the self-appointed lawyers of Israel becomes harder with every single claim made. Let's refer back to that one again to see how he dealt with the 40 beheaded babies claim.
Again, this is why it's like the 40 beheaded babies. That hoax was not an Israeli, I think there's a better way to put it. The 40 beheaded babies was not actually an Israeli government hoax. It wasn't. It was a misspeak from a journalist that was spread around the world by a few fucking nutters. And then the people who really made it last were people who were anti-Israel. They were the ones who spread that. They're the ones who have kept that alive.
So his strategy here is not to blame that propaganda on the Israelis who made it up and spread it, but rather to blame the people who are against Israel's genocide for calling them out on it and not allowing them to forget it. The first part of this strategy here is not a very advanced one. It's known as lying. He lies about this idea that this was just an error made by one reporter, which was not spread by the Israeli state or other Israeli propagandists, nor anyone of any significance. It was merely mostly picked up on by opponents of Israel, solely by them, which is apparently a bad thing for them to do because, I don't know, apparently it's wrong to point out that Israel is inventing abhorrent, obviously fake, genocide-justifying propaganda over and over again because who knows why? He doesn't explain it. Here's the thing, though. This was spread by the State of Israel. It was spread by Eylon Levy, their official spokesman at the time. It was spread all over official Israeli social media. It was spread by Netanyahu's personal spokesperson.
When you listed the unconscionable atrocities that took place in that kibbutz, you did say that babies had been decapitated. Can I take that as confirmation then? Because that currently is being reported as reported action. That has actually happened as it
Toddlers, babies. I can tell you that they, some of them, heads were cut off. This is what we're hearing from from soldiers on the ground, and yes, they cut off heads. They cut off heads.
Which was then seen by US President Joe Biden, who then repeated the claim uncritically in a press conference.
I've been doing this a long time. I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children. I never thought I'd ever... Anyway.
Biden the most powerful politician in the world, the leader of the state that is Israel's prime backer and accomplice, continued to repeat that claim for months afterwards. So apparently this claim was just made by one reporter and, you know, just sort of was a fart in the wind, according to this guy, when in actual reality, it was spread precisely by the Israeli state itself and their key ally, enabler, and supporter, the President of the United States of America. So the strategy of Israel's lawyer here was firstly just to lie, and then also to build on top of that lie by doing some impossibly stupid mental gymnastics to somehow spin Goebbels tier propaganda, specifically spread by Israel to justify its genocide, on the people who are against the genocide. And I gotta say, it doesn't work at all. It is just kind of self-evidently ludicrous how these people are twisting themselves into knots to justify the unjustifiable. To willingly not just embarrass yourself in public like this, but to do it for the purposes of justifying genocide. I don't think there is an adjective that is strong enough to describe that level of both idiocy and depravity. The Israelis, their supporters, and their American allies spread an obvious lie about fake dead Israeli babies to justify their massacre of thousands of very real Palestinian babies. And we have people like this not talking about those actually real massacred Palestinian babies, but rather how Israeli propaganda about fake massacred Israeli babies is actually to blame on those who are against Israel's genocide. The pure dismissiveness that this guy displays when it comes to Palestinians being massacred, children, babies being killed, it's just inhuman. But if you thought that was bad, how about we move on to one of Lonabox's best friends and frequent collaborators, the streamer Destiny. Topically, he had some comments to make about the self-evidently absurd 40 beheaded babies propaganda, in which he just uncritically accepted Israeli propaganda entirely at its word.
The beheaded baby one, it was mostly factually correct, right? There were 40 dead babies. At least one was decapitated. They weren't all 40 decapitated, right? But so it's mostly correct, not 40 beheaded babies, just 40 dead babies with a few of their heads cut off, right?
So much for it only being hung on to by those dastardly anti-genocide people, huh?
It was a misspeak from a journalist that was spread around the world by a few fucking nutters.
Now let's compare the standard of evidence that Destiny has for accepting ridiculous claims made by Israelis with the standard of evidence that he applies to literal video evidence of Palestinians being executed right before his eyes by the Israeli military. Now, I can't show the context for the clip that he is reacting to here for fear of potentially getting this video taken down by YouTube for showing someone literally dying, but I will describe it to you and there will be a link in the description. A reporter for the British news outlet ITV approaches a group of people in an Israeli-declared safe zone for civilians. These people are holding a white flag and waving it in order to make it clear to any Israeli troops that they are civilians. The reporter interviews a few of them. They explain that they are evacuating because, as is clear from the billowing smoke and gunshots which can be heard in the background, the supposed safe zone is no longer safe. Having interviewed the men, the interviewer turns around and leaves. Suddenly, Israeli troops begin firing on this group and they hit one of them, killing him instantly. He is pulled aside behind cover by his companions, where they are joined by other civilians who are also evacuating. Amidst their screams and cries as they realize that he is dead, the Israeli soldiers begin to fire on them again. To reiterate, again, this was a group of civilians, including children, who were waving white flags. They had done everything that Israel had told them to do. They were in an Israeli-declared safe area, and they were in the process of evacuating to a different safe area. So what did Destiny think about this? Well,
the interview complete, our cameraman walked away.
So like what? So he is interviewing the guy who's about to go do some shit to get himself killed, basically. That's what's going to happen. We know from this point, that's what's going to happen. So he walks away, gets back a little bit, and then he sets up behind this thing, right? Is this concealment, I guess? Not cover, concealment, right? Because I think the tank's over here. So now he can capture the footage right here. He sees the guys walking, knowing that they're about to get shot, because that's what's going to happen. And then eventually they get shot and everything is, this is it. This is like act 1, 2, and 3. It's like all here. Now this guy is down. He's dead. These guys are like...
and fatally wounded.
They're not even like... They're not even running. They're not even like cowering and running away and screaming in fear. There's like, okay, well, they did it. We got our shots. Okay, is this guy done? Oh, shit. Well, okay. Well, we brought the white flag so we can put that over the bleeding part, assuming he got shot in it, actually, right?
Flag on
and
his
then
chest.
this guy, what, is this guy running back to grab the wife?
By this stage, the man's wife, his widow, has heard what happened.
And then, like, what does this mean? The wife has heard what happened. Like, bro, this is crazy. I'm sorry. The tracking live movement shot of the lady running up to her dead husband? Like, what is this?
By this stage, the man's wife, his widow, has heard what happened.
Somebody went back and told her, right? The 5 martyrs that walked forward, you know, your husband was the unlucky guy. He drew the short stick today, so come forward, cry for us on camera. Do you think the guy intentionally wanted to get killed? No, I don't think he wanted to die. I don't think they were thinking they were going to die, but they probably were hoping to get shot at, or maybe, so you're saying the woman was acting? I don't think the woman was acting. She probably was sincerely sad. Her husband got fucking killed. But I think they were farming TikTok clips. I mean, remember, these people actually, yeah, like have suicide bombers. So it's not that big of a stretch to imagine that they would be willing to get shot. However, now I haven't gone down this road because this is way more, it would require me to make a lot more assumptions, but it's also possible he didn't get shot, right? Now, do we know the name of the guy? Is he actually dead? Do we even know if this is his wife? These are a whole bunch of questions that would be valid. Now, if I was way more on the pro-Zionist side, I would be asking those questions. Who is this guy? Do we even know if he's actually fucking dead? Like, we don't actually see the wound, right? It seems like they don't have any problem showing anything else. Like, why just the white flag so that it can look all bloody? Like, show us the actual gunshot. You have no problem showing other violence, right? What Pallywood means is that you're capturing intentional video footage to sell a certain narrative about what's going on, basically. So Pallywood might be, this, right? So the idea is that like 4 innocent civilians are like walking up and you just want like a clip here of the idea of shooting them for no reason because they're civilians with white flags. And you kind of ignore the fact that like, okay, well, they're in a battle zone in an area they were told to evacuate from, and they're going back to try to release somebody that was captured. Like that's like Pallywood, I think. You're essentially provoking the enemy to take what is largely a justified action and then trying to say that it's like indiscriminate civilian killing. It's like a setup. It's not fake, but they're doing it to themselves. You're dehumanizing yourself. You're suiciding and sacrificing your civilian population.
Did you get that? Did you digest what was just said there? Taking it in? The Palestinian civilians were asking for it. By trying to make a crossing in an officially Israeli declared safe zone for civilians, no less, they are responsible for their own murder. It's their fault for walking around with a white flag while being so Palestinian in the vision of an Israeli soldier. Much like Lonabox, his very first instinct when he is confronted with overwhelming evidence of the state which he unconditionally supports committing war crimes. When said evidence renders outright denial impossible, the first thing that comes to mind for him is to blame the victims for their own deaths. He literally, unironically, makes the argument that Palestinians are essentially like baiting Israeli soldiers by walking provocatively with a white flag into killing them so that they can film it to do what he calls farming TikTok clips. This is the level of depravity, of desperation that the genocide propagandists are at. Israel's actions are so obvious, so clear, so well evidenced, so indefensible that there are frequently times like these where the best defense they can muster is, well, what did you expect, man? It's not like you can expect an Israeli soldier to resist an opportunity to just murder a Palestinian civilian. You were kind of asking for it there. And they aren't even cognitive of how what they're saying is a denouncement of themselves, of Israel, of everything they're trying to defend. The Goebbels level Israeli genocide propaganda that they are utilizing to attempt to justify their genocide, that's the fault of Palestinians and their supporters for even talking about it.
People who were anti-Israel, they were the ones who spread that.
Palestinian civilians being murdered by Israel on video in broad daylight while waving white flags in an Israeli-declared safe zone, that's their fault too.
I think they were farming TikTok clips.
Now, genocide justification usually has levels to it. It has like a checklist. First, it's blatant lies, attempting to sow doubt about the facts. You know, we can't really know what's going on, right? There's the fog of war. It's very unclear, though in this case, It's very much not unclear. The evidence is totally overwhelming. You see it on your social media feed every single day. They nonetheless have to act like the evidence is not clear, have to muddy the waters because it's the best that they can manage. To begin with, it's either that or just outright denying that it happened. The evidence is fake. It's Hollywood, as our friend Destiny so graciously called it. It's a Hamas conspiracy to delegitimize Israel, stuff like that. Then once that argument inevitably falls over, they move on to the Loner Box fight in that first clip. Okay, so it did happen, but there is an accident or there is some other explanation for it. Then when that doesn't work out, they move on to claiming, okay, so it wasn't an accident and maybe there isn't a good explanation for it, but that's not representative of the conduct of the Israeli military overall. Please ignore the endless evidence that it is. It's got nothing to do with the Israeli government or systematic Israeli policy. It's just one or two guys doing some bad stuff, you know? Then when none of that works, when they are backed into a corner by the endless evidence that makes it abundantly clear that this is very much intentional policy, they move on to one of two things. Acknowledging that it's happening, but implying that somehow the victims made it happen, or the tried and tested strategy of, so are you implying that Israel would intentionally do the thing that there is clear evidence that is intentionally doing? What are you, anti-Semitic? Now I'm going to bring up a clip of Israel's lawyer desperately trying to defend Israel from the charges, incredibly well evidenced, that it is systematically using Gazan civilians as human shields. This is something that has been evidenced by dozens of testimonies of the victims, by clear photo and video evidence of it occurring, and by Israeli soldiers themselves who have come forward to say that the practice is happening. Think about the checklist that I went over and see which tactic you can see being used here.
I'm guessing you already know that they're using like Gazan civilians to scope out tunnels and buildings, right?
Yeah, I know that, yeah. Or at least the Haaretz article said that, so yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a top-down thing. So it is policy. It's not just the accountability thing. Right.
Is that like is that actually their military policy though? Because I thought one of the problems there was that soldiers eventually were refusing to do it because of the unlawful order.
There were some that didn't want to do it, but it was still like the commander issuing the orders, and it's a pretty open secret in the IDF, and it has been done before in other wars.
Yeah, so you're saying a commander did it, but a commander obviously is not particularly high up in the chain of command. Like, is it the case that is it still the case that it's their IDF policy? Like, it's the policy from like the chief of staff though, or is it like commanders are doing it, but people are turning a blind eye? Because that's like my argument. My argument is that people are getting away with committing crimes because there's not going to be accountability, but it still doesn't negate the fact that their training even tells them not to do that. Their training tells them if you get an unlawful order, you're supposed to disobey.
So he's making the bad apples argument here, except not for individual soldiers, but for commanders. You know, the fact that there are individual soldiers who are refusing this order and going to the media to complain about it indicates that it is in fact systemic, that it is in fact policy, because it is coming from the commanders, and it is only a few individual soldiers who have denounced it. That is the exact opposite of a few bad apples, but he nonetheless tries to make that argument because nothing else occurs to him. I'm eagerly awaiting the sequel to this argument. It's just a few bad prime ministers. Like, half of his arguments are these clearly systemic practices that have been repeated time and time again in a clear pattern of conduct that is simply undeniable, are somehow not indicative of Israeli policy, of Israel's goals in this so-called war, of why they're there in the first place, and why they are doing what they are doing. While we're on that note, let's go over one final clip. It is his reaction to Mehdi Hassan going over a laundry list of Israel's genocidal crimes that they have committed in the last year.
I don't understand how we're debating this more than 40,000 deaths later. I don't understand how we're still debating this sitting in the comfort of New York, 7,000 miles away from a place that the UN Secretary General has called hell on earth. Justified? Justified? Was Israel justified in carrying out one of the most intense civilian punishment campaigns in history, according to Dr. Robert Pape at the University of Chicago, dropping 500-pound bombs, 1,000-pound bombs, 2,000-pound bombs on schools, hospitals, universities, bookstores, libraries, mosques, churches, refugee camps, apartment buildings, cemeteries, destroying a higher percentage of buildings in northern Gaza than the Allies destroyed in Dresden during World War II, reducing Gaza to 42 million tons of rubble while they got people out of the way? How is that justified? Dropping a bomb, for example, on a 6-story apartment building in central Gaza last October, killing more than 100 people inside, including more than 50 children, with no Hamas target in sight, according to Human Rights Watch, with no explanation offered by the Israeli military. Even till today, was that justified, Elon? Was Israel justified in telling people to go to safe zones and then bombing them and killing them in those safe zones? According to NBC, there were 7 deadly airstrikes between January and April in areas that the Israeli military had specifically designated as safe zones, killing Palestinian civilians like Sabrine Sakani, who was 30 weeks pregnant at the time. She was killed in a safe zone in April. Her little baby, newborn baby, died less than a week later. Was that justified too, Elon? Was Israel justified in killing a record number of kids in Gaza, 16,000 children, turning Gaza into what the UN has called a graveyard for children, according to Save the Children, killing more kids in the first 3 weeks that were killed globally in each of the past 4 years, killing little kids like 6-year-old Hind Rajab and her 15-year-old sister Leanne, firing 335 bullets into the car they were in. 335 bullets, and then killing the 2 paramedics who went to try and rescue them. Was that justified too, Elon? Was Israel justified in killing a record number of aid workers in Gaza? Right? A record number. Targeting again and again, systematically, car by car, according to Chef Jose Andreas. A specifically, explicitly marked World Central Kitchen aid convoy killing 7 aid workers in the process. Was that justified? Was Israel justified in starving the people of Gaza, using food and water as a weapon of war, to quote both the EU and Oxfam? Was Israel justified in blocking aid trucks from going into Gaza simply because they carry things like crutches, nail clippers, and even chocolate croissants, according to the Washington Post? Was Israel justified in raping, sodomizing Palestinian detainees who were charged with no crimes whatsoever? Putting hot rods up their rectums, amputating their limbs, according to CNN and the New York Times. Was that rape and torture justified, Elon? Israel, according to the ICC chief prosecutor, who put out a statement calling for the arrest of Elon's former boss, Benjamin Netanyahu, said that Israel may have military goals, legitimate goals, but the way they're carried out, killing innocent people, starving people, is criminal, he said. Criminal, think about that. Elon Levy is a former spokesperson for a man who the ICC chief prosecutor once arrested for war crimes. Elon himself has produced a number of lies, sorry John, in service of those war crimes. He has a bunch of tweets still up tonight which say that babies were beheaded on October the 7th, babies were baked in ovens, babies were ripped from their mother's wombs. October 7th was bad enough, but Elon had to exaggerate it for atrocity purposes. Those tweets are still up. Why would you trust anything this man says to you tonight? Look, he's here to gaslight you, to defend the indefensible, to excuse the inexcusable, to justify the unjustifiable, but you don't need to. Tonight you can choose to be on the side not of cruelty, not of criminality, but on the side of the innocent people of Gaza who are being killed as we speak tonight, as we speak, by Elon's former colleagues in the Israeli military on the orders of Elon's former bosses in the Israeli government. So yes, I choose to oppose this horrific and homicidal motion.
I think the problem is that if you want to get, I'm trying to think of like how you would illustrate what's wrong with what Mehdi's saying, is let's assume that every case that Mehdi put forward was true. When he talks about particular incidents like the WCK bombing or the person who was the child who was shot while they were in a car or like all this kind of stuff. So if they're talking about that, then it's kind of like saying that doesn't really, you could just argue none of that actually says whether or not the broad military campaign is justified or not. You understand that, right?
So apparently the fact that Israel is clearly systematically committing war crimes, crimes against humanity, pretty much every international crime that you could ever think of on a mass scale, patterns that make it clear that they are there in order to do what they are literally doing. We, however, cannot judge their so-called military campaign by what they are doing. The fact that they are doing these things says nothing about whether them doing those things is actually justified or not. Apparently, in order to deduce why Israel is doing what it is doing in Gaza, we can't look at what it's doing in Gaza. You know, like destroying 60% of all buildings in the territory, many of them through literal controlled demolitions, schools, mosques, churches, museums, all destroyed intentionally, massacring endless scores of civilians with numbers that are simply impossible to achieve unless it is being done intentionally. We apparently can't look at that and say, yeah, they're there because they want to kill the civilians. That's why they're killing them. They're there because they want to expel the civilians. That's why they are expelling them. They're destroying every single building there because they want to destroy it, because they want to destroy Gaza. No, 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 no. You can't do that. Why?
Killer. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hears you. You hear my cat? Let me see if I.
Yeah, I could hear it in the back. Won't meow on demand.
Wants treats 24/7, and and
that's fun.
It's whatever. It's fine. Honestly, it was kind of annoying, but like they seemed kind of sick the other day, and like were acting a little off and weren't eating, and they got super afraid. But now they're like looking like they're doing better. So like I'm ask for.
Oh. As it should be.
As it should be. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. A little fuzzy. I had the procedure thing today. I was up most of the night.
Oh God.
Kind of doing that business. So you got to go in stints. So you start at 6 p.m., drink a solution, and then you're basically going to the bathroom for 3 hours off and on, and then I grabbed a couple hours of sleep. Then like 10 to midnight. Get back up, drink another thing, and then go through that for another 3 hours. And then I knocked off for about an hour and a half before having to leave.
So this is just a checkup.
No. Well, it's an endoscopy or endoscopy. So they probe. I used to get them when I have acid reflux. I used to get them once a year where they'd go down your mouth into your esophagus and check for.
Interesting. Okay.
Whatever, could be wrong, but no, the colonoscopy, they stick a camera up your butt and check your
I know it
stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, was this like doctor ordered, or was this just like
like life ordered? So when you hit 50,
just a checkup.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
okay.
I mean, right. Yes, essentially. Yeah. A little more
Did you
involved than a
prestige?
typical check. Yeah, I figured out. I think I was twiddling around the other day, and I figured out.
You figured out how to do it?
I guess activate it. How to activate it? Yeah, I don't.
Did you
know.
did you
All
unlock
I noticed
anything? You get an unlock because you know how you start.
Yeah. I remember you talking about that a little bit. Yeah, I unblocked the greed perk and whatever. There was some.
Beautiful. Yeah, definitely the shit that you need or that you like to use. All right, well, shit, I didn't have to walk you through that. You figured that out like a champ. Congratulations, good work.
Yeah, but thanks. But I was like wondering what is the point of, I mean, so all I've noticed is that you basically lost all perks and you have to like rebuild to get them back, I guess.
Yes.
And all of the weapons that you had setups for, it lost all the setups. So you have to start from scratch on every single weapon.
You even have to change your operator.
And so what's the point? Why? What is this? Why did that's, to me, those are like, it's not an advantage, like
it's
whatever.
it's I don't know.
Is there something good about prestiging?
I mean, it's just how you will level up. Like there's 10 prestige levels, and then once you finish, when you finish those, you enter master prestige, which goes up to level 1000, and then you are maxed. Then you're a Call of Duty goddamn champion.
So this is just going to happen over and over again. Get used to it, kind of
yeah.
thing.
But you can unlock the shit that you like. So each time you do reset, it's not as bad, you know, or you can still kind of have whatever things that, like you like. So I've unlocked. I think I'm on. What am I on right now? I'm on Prestige 3. Let's see. No, 4. I just got into Prestige 4. And I'm at level 22. So, but I've unlocked. Because my big like. My crutch perks basically are like I like to have the greed perk so I can have the 2 where I can get the extra perk. You know, I always have to have scavenger, need to have tracker. And those 3 together, if I have those 3 unlocked, like I'm sitting kind of pretty. And so I've unlocked those, but I still need to unlock like the stem. I hate not having a stem, and every time I restart, like I got to level all the way up to a stem, and it's pretty annoying. So that's going to be my next unlock. But after that, I might start unlocking guns I'm working on that I don't want to have to level high up to unlock. You know, I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead because I'm still just I'm still got to do stem. Once I get the stem done, and maybe there's a couple other perks that I might unlock because there's 10 prestige. So basically, you get to unlock on the way to mastery. You get to unlock like 10 different.
Okay, so here's my question now.
Sure.
So I believe I unlocked the greed perk, you know, and so how come when I go to the perks I don't see greed anywhere, or do? No, I guess I don't know. Why do I not see that?
So when you're on one of your setups and you go down to the wild cards,
yeah,
you click on it. Your greed has a lock on it.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah. If I have to go all the way to wild card, yeah, there's a lock on it. I can't even open up anything.
Then you have not unlocked it. Something's up.
What the hell? What the shit? Well, maybe I have
hold
to
up.
fix
Let's go. Let's try to unlock it. Go to the barracks progression. Level unlocks.
Okay.
Does it say anywhere that you have like an unlock available?
No, I mean it says view unlocks and then select unlock.
Wait, view unlocks? It says that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, click on that. Oh, on the bottom, I see it. View unlocks.
I'm scrolling over a little bit so I can see.
Okay, well, did you? Okay,
part.
What level is? It's like almost at the greed perks at level 54. So when you scroll all the way to 54 and see if there's like an infinity sign.
Yeah.
On it.
There is an infinity sign on it.
Okay. Yeah. But when you go to your wild card, is the actual wild card slot locked, or is?
Yeah, that's it. Yep, the whole thing is locked.
And it should say what level that unlocks at. I'm assuming it's a pretty low level.
It's just some stupid thing like it'll unlock by itself in a few.
Let me see. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna.
You don't have to confirm that. That's probably what it is.
I want to though. It's got to be low. You're at 9 right now. So, actually unlock wild cards in general. Let me see. The first wild card unlock is at level 15. And I bet you when you do that, you'll be able to get to your.
It'll fill up.
Which is kind of
okay, cool.
Just kind of nutty. I didn't even know
Yeah,
that was
because
an
it's
issue.
like you unlocked it. Yeah, it's like you unlocked it. You
should be able to
permanent
use it.
unlock. Why do I have to build back up to it? Yeah, it feels like that you should just give me right now. That's pretty lame.
That I don't know about that. That's weird.
It's not like a. Not a.
I don't remember
a
having
huge
that
thing.
problem. Because I'm pretty sure. Well, wildcard was the second thing I unlocked. I thought I was unlocking it the first thing, but I accidentally unlocked the kill streak right next to it, which is like the dreadnought or something like that, which is fine. It's like the top kill streak, so not too.
So basically, every time you prestige up a level, it's going to make you, earn back all those, I guess, access to all those perks that you had permanently unlocked, right? If they're all like, it makes you play the game without your stuff for a while.
So when you, if you go to loadouts and you go to edit a loadout and you go down to your wildcard slot and you click on it, what's there? Nothing? It won't let you click?
Nothing.
Or is Tactical Expert?
I get a little. What's that?
Well, that's the first. Like, wait, what is it? What does it look like on your wildcard slot under your loadout?
It just is a gray box with a white lock on it.
It's got
it
a
says
lock
wild
on it.
card. Yeah, it's so. It sounds like every time you prestige, you're probably going to have to play a while without any of your permanently unlocked perks, which is kind of shitty.
I feel like I didn't have to
Like
do
you just
that.
don't.
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, well, no big deal.
Well, keep
figure it out
checking
later.
that.
Why don't we
See,
play? I
maybe
don't have too long.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure you're maximizing.
Yeah. No. Thanks. I got off. I asked you to check on this, so that's all good.
I had noticed. It's like you have prestiged. But I'm I think once I unlock the stem, it's kind of everything I have. But I'll pay attention to my next prestige to see if I have to get to even use a wild card. So I feel like I didn't have that issue.
Well, maybe it's some glitchy thing or something. Maybe I haven't played Call of Duty enough and it's punishing me.
Yeah, that's probably it. I do know that like you have to get past like level 1 to unlock any prestige. Like you can't just prestige and then right away go unlock it. You have to level up a little bit to even like be able to move through the different unlock levels. Like it won't even let you go past. It's pretty bizarre. I don't know. Like it could be glitchy. It could be a total glitch. That wouldn't surprise me. But I'm just about to unlock my first diamond on ARs. That's kind of fun. You get triple kills. I just got my last gold that I needed on AR. So I'm gonna unlock all my diamonds here, then move on to
neutralize all threats.
On to something else. Should I do snipers first? I've never done that. I'm usually like ARs, SMGs, having fun running and gunning.
You warned me against it, and I see why, but sometimes I just go for getting punished. I don't know.
But maybe but I think it makes you a better player. If you can master snipers, it makes all other kind of guns easier.
Yeah. I do enjoy the sniper. Even if I'm playing bad, they're still fun.
And they're pretty good in this game. I've had a pretty good time with them so far.
I'm gonna blow up. Yep.
Oh.
Just warning, I'm gonna probably play really horribly.
No, please.
So I'm a little fuzzy brain today. came home and I slept for 3 hours from like 10 to 1. I was like, this is a totally weird time for me to be asleep.
Oh, dude, that is like a very typical weekend for me. 10 to 1, perfect.
You get up super early. Oh, who's shooting at me? What's your week like? You have Thanksgiving off. Are you getting the day after off?
Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure I'm Wednesday through the weekend off. I mean, sorry, not even Thursday for the weekend off. Going tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have zero plans. But I'm gonna clean. I really don't. I'm not going to eat any more than I usually do. And I don't even think I'm gonna do vegan turkey. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, holidays these days.
Tofurkey cold cuts might be kind of yum. Some like vegan eggs and some white bread.
There you go.
Thanksgiving Day.
Make it work.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt you? I'm sorry.
No.
There's a guy on the roof right above you.
Murdering. Murder.
Check that aim, shite for brains.
I need to unlock. Yes, I don't even care. Still is my next unlock.
Bet you there's a guy up here. Yep. A guy camping up on this roof right here. I marked him right here. I already got him. But he'll probably be back. He'll be back.
Just gonna go right back up to the roof.
Camp. He likes to camp. Yeah.
I'm gonna camp his spot then. Screw this.
I think that's the spawn place for us.
Spawn. Oh,
after we left, somebody spawned at the that hangar where the sniper was.
Over by the
Tack up. Get a UAV in the air.
Come on, you're dead. There you come.
Both my rent, and my storage unit are both going up. $100 rent. It's like.
Oh shit, that sucks, dude.
I'm about starting selling drugs.
Oh god.
Just kidding. But whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to strategize. If it gets pretty bad, you know, I mean, I can always, like, cause I have, like, basically the biggest unit I have as far as storage. I can try to sell off some shit and, like, you know, downsize, go to a smaller unit, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that.
We have a storage unit for just not a lot of stuff. It's probably the smallest one you can get. But when I got the Mustang and I had to get winter tires, I had to store the other season tires somewhere, and we didn't have room anywhere. So leaving them in the basement stank like rubber. So anyway, we've had this storage unit for a while, and it's gone up. I calculated it not too long ago. In 5 years, it's gone up 73%.
Oh my god.
I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. And every time I got pissed off recently, because every time I go in there, the lights above my unit are dark. And this has been going on for like a few years. And so, like, I have to bring a flashlight and all this crap. Not the biggest problem, but over 4 years, I mentioned it to the guy once, and I'm like, hey, you know, it looks like the light bulbs are out over my unit. Can somebody replace the bulbs or check it or whatever? The guy's like, yeah, sure. And so he gets back to me that oh, it's not the bulbs, it's a ballast issue, but they don't want to fix it right now because they're going to be replacing all the lights in the whole facility to green LEDs or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine, whatever. I can wait. It's not the biggest deal. But this is now 3 years ago, and it's still
hasn't happened.
Deploying RCXD.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I
and so
would
I call them.
those bitches.
I
man.
called them. I'm like, hey, I sent him the email that I kept, in my email. And I'm like, hey, this guy said this is gonna get replaced, and it's now 3 years later, and it's still dark over my unit. Can this get rectified, please? And the guy's like, okay, I think I see the problem. He's like, I checked out your area, and basically they're motion activated lights, which I knew, but they don't activate, And he's like, well, if you approach your unit from like behind and like go through the row that way, then it'll turn on.
Does that work?
And I'm like, I haven't tried it yet.
Oh my
he
god.
claims that it does. It may work, but
that's
it's like
so dumb.
No person on Earth would think of doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go out, walk out of my way first, a way no one would walk ever.
Yeah, I have the same thing. Like, there's automatic lights. My unit too. And
that's my little, that's my little storage unit story.
I mean, that's super annoying.
Lights
man.
and what?
You never get any. I found out you never get anywhere being nice. You gotta just start making a stink and being like, this is like use words like unacceptable, and like I'm paying a lot for this. And it's just like, like this is not.
I did say that. I did mention.
I will
like,
take
hey,
my
this has gone up
business elsewhere. Like, don't fuck around.
Yeah, that's
assholes.
kind of what I did. I did.
All right, right on. Awesome.
To some extent, I told them, if this keeps up, I'm basically out of here.
Do it now. If not, get to work.
They didn't really seem to care much, though.
Knock it off, you
like
this guy
dude.
up
Like,
here.
there's nothing they can do, man. They're fucking robbing you blind. It's kind of like they deserve every fucking my fucking shit that they get. Literally every business, big or small, can. I have no sympathy ever for anything if they're fucking up.
You fucking me? Activate catch-back protocol.
We need to evac now.
If somebody's deserving of it, that's fine. But I don't like to, comment people just doing their job. And who had probably nothing to do with the lie that was told to me that, oh, it's a ballast issue and we're replacing all the lights. Da, da, da. It's like, how come you didn't get back to me if, that's what the problem was? You should have emailed me and said, this is already activated.
I've been thinking about, like, feeling bad about, going after people on the phone and whatnot. But it's like, honestly, if they quit their job, it'd be a good thing. If I can contribute to that. Like, oh, so you don't like to put up with my dog shit, huh? Quit your dumb job then, because your business is dog shit.
You do come across people who just don't care. Wow, like minimal effort people, like wow. You don't even say hello to people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
You're
usually
awesome.
super cool. Something's dumb, I'll freak out. Like if, like when, like my power went out and I had to, and because I hadn't paid my bill, and like I had to like call ComEd, and the lady I talked to was like super nice, like she really helped me out. You know what I mean? So when I'm in a situation like that, like praise those people. Like, my God, thank you so much for helping me, instead of just like, oh yeah, well you're fucked. So whatever. This is our, it's like screw
Louis
you, dude.
from the taxi.
Like I remember, like I had
my
like
problem.
One time I have like an ATM like eat, just eat my money. Like I try to deposit it and it spit back out not the whole amount, and then it canceled, and like it didn't count. And I was like, "What the hell is?" I was like, out $100.
Oh my God.
And like I called the bank, and I was like, "What the hell?" And they're kind of like, "Well, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, "Give me my money."
It's like
you
it
fuck."
literally robbed you.
Yeah.
The ATM robbed you.
Literally, it was crazy. Like I put it like
That's
150, it
hilarious.
spat out like 10 or 20, like 10, 20 or whatever, and like it kept the rest and didn't deposit it.
Domination.
It
Capture the objective.
Stole my lunch
just
money.
wanted to borrow it for a while. It stole his lunch money. He
I
was a
was-
bully.
I was
Taking the lead.
furious.
Stay on task.
And the guy in the bank was kind of like, "Well, you're gonna have to be a little patient." And I was kind of like, "Fuck your patience, motherfucker! Put that money back in my shit now." I think it was like right after my birthday. It was like birthday, some shit. Wild ag.
God, that's horrible. Happy birthday.
Yeah, fuck you.
For you.
You son of a bitch, give me my money or I'm gonna kill you and your family.
All locations locked down. Dig in and hold them.
We are RP. Dominating these people. It's pretty early on though. I'm sure they're just gonna have some
We're losing Charlie.
new players spawn in. Try.
Lost B.
Move up.
There was a guy. This guy comes back. He was sniping on that tank. He was sitting there camping
Sitting
on
on
the
the
tank
tank.
top.
What over by what by A?
Yeah, I pinned it. Yeah, no, let's see. Yes, by A.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, he comes back. Look out for him.
I'm gonna. Oh shit! I just got flashback. Oh, I'm dead. All right. I don't know if that was the guy who did that, but going after him is
noble cause. Where are these guys?
Objective capture underway.
Jesus. What was that? Arch.
Taking B.
Old. Whatever they call it there.
Secure.
So.
Losing B. Securing zone A. All objectives locked down. Hold the enemy.
Coordinates marked.
We're losing Charlie.
Effective shot.
I think that guy might be back. Somebody killed me over there when I ran outside.
Taking
No,
C.
I don't see.
Fucker. Ooh, fucker.
Yeah, got me.
Alpha secure.
Look at these guys.
Ceasefire. Friendly target. Requesting recon above.
Nice.
They are.
UAV above.
They're playing to win. We have got the advantage.
Taking C. Securing Charlie.
I just did a big cough. Mute is my mute working okay?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Location secure. Maintain current posture. We're losing Alpha. Losing B.
I like this map because it's got the red barrels that blow up when you shoot them.
Oh, yeah.
And when I see an enemy near one, dude, it is like fun. Blow that shit up.
I forget that. I forget about those. Thanks for reminding me.
Taking ground.
I've got this. Scout house available.
Jesus. I am on the bottom. Holy crap, I'm sucking.
Bravo is ours.
I'm been murdering. I'm not sure where I'm at right now. Just got a kill streak.
5 enemies sighted.
Taking C.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. God.
Deploying Archangel.
Archangel out.
Locking down Charlie.
I see you.
Losing Bravo.
I'm gonna die. Dang it, really?
Losing A. Securing Charlie. We're losing Alpha.
Two Archangel. Zero kills.
Hold the enemy back. We're losing Charlie.
Objective capture on the way. Put down that spring mine.
Oh, come on.
Losing B.
I'm stuck.
Stuck.
Scout pulse going out.
Push it. Okay. Oh, I just slid into
Enemy care
a
package above.
proximity mine. Or spring mine. Got it. Oof.
Controlling Bravo.
Let's go.
We locked down.
I just see someone's name. GI
losing
Camel
Charlie.
Toe. Or GI Camel Joe.
Camel Joe. That's pretty good. I gotta hand it to him.
I'm gonna see if I can.
like that.
If I see that again, I'll confirm it.
Losing
Shit, I
Bravo.
can't get through. Fuck.
We lost B.
Thank you, Spanky, around A right now.
Taking A.
I'm on the objective.
Yeah, these guys are sitting on this armament thing too with rocket launchers and shit.
Toast.
B secured. Losing B.
Throw and frag.
Sniper is down. They're taking C. Securing Alpha.
I decided it's not worth it.
Securing Zone A. We lost C.
Initiating
Alpha.
objective control. Move up. Marker is down.
Man, they're spawning on it, but I'm murdering them.
Bravo. Taking A.
Let's go. Ooh.
Zone Alpha captured.
Standing by.
After I
Wait.
killed a guy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what? No, what?
No, I was gonna say, scavenger might refill your equipment too. I think I just got a grenade off
Losing
of
B.
a scavenger. I'm gonna check
Securing
that.
C.
It's kind of huge. All right. Oh, that's out.
All resistance locked down. Dig in and hold them. We're losing Charlie. Losing A. Losing Bravo.
We're cooking these fools.
Deactivated. Establish watchdog helo on station above.
We're losing Alpha. Losing A. Securing B. Maintaining posture. We've lost Alpha. They're taking C. Taking Alpha. Losing B.
Wasted.
Oh my god, it does. Ooh. Scavenger refills your lethal and tactical.
Losing Bravo.
Nice.
That it wasn't like that before. It was just ammo before.
Mission goals
Holy
agreed.
shit.
Dispatching teams along the
That is definitely like
Mission area is
the
ours. Dispatch cleanup crew.
Munitions box.
The other one's in the dust.
What's that?
Yeah. Yeah, it leaves the other
Yeah.
things in the dust.
That's
Scavenger.
wow. I just realized that. That's huge. You refill, yeah, you get an extra nade, you get an extra. This is my new favorite emote. Freaking dead. Got it. Okay.
Very operatic of a move.
Well, hey, you gotta get going.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna head out.
No worries. Hey, good
Probably gonna
games.
sleep soon.
Very good games. Good times. Loving this. But please.
All right, talk.
So tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm honestly like I've got zero plans for the whole holiday. I know you probably got some shit going down, but any opening you got as far as playing some gaming, let me know. I'm here for it.
Okay, yeah, tomorrow should work. I'll find you some at some point.
Hell yes.
Okay. All right, cool.
All right,
Have a good night.
You too. Talk to you soon.
He just sort of decided you can't. That really is all there is to it. That's his argument. And that is aside from, you know, all of the undeniable statements, plans, etc., coming from the Israeli state. They make it very clear that this is what they want to do from the very beginning, and it's what they have been doing, and that they are going to continue to be doing it, like their leaked plans to do exactly what they are doing, which filtered out already in October 2023, people at the highest levels of government outright saying that that is what they are doing. They openly discussed plans to build concentration camps in Gaza, which the survivors will be hoarded into for threat of death if they try to leave. The Israeli military just openly declaring today, as I film this video, that they have no intention to allow the residents of the northern Gaza Strip to return to their homes, and that anyone in the entire northern half of Gaza is not a civilian who they can just freely kill. Ignore all of that, right? Or try to frame it as if it's not indicative of broad Israeli policy. You know, just a few fringe crazies like, you know, the prime minister of the country, the defense minister.
The shit, I'm in the best mood I've been in all day.
You know,
I love it. If anyone's watching, which I doubt.
A couple of bad apples. It's
Love you.
incoherent. It's incredibly stupid. They make themselves look like massive dumbasses and horrid people, all because they've committed themselves to defending the clearly indefensible. Monobox has a particularly disdain for Mehdi Hassan, by the way. You can see that in this clip.
I will happily support this pin because I support the release of all the hostages and let me finish. And I support the release of thousands of Palestinian detainees being raped and tortured and children. Do you support that? Let's swear it together. Do you support the young? Do you support the release of Palestinians? I do not support, do you support the release of Palestinian children? Do you support the release of Palestinian children?
Is he why is he? Oh God, what a fucking creep, man.
What a creep.
You can talk about the unlawful lawfulness of the imprisoning, but like the Palestinians who are imprisoned in Israeli centers are not imprisoned like randomly.
Of thousands of Palestinian detainees being raped and tortured and children. Do you
Oh, jack that shit.
So, Mehdi Hassan mentions that Palestinians are being kidnapped from Gaza by the IDF, put into concentration camps in Israel, and then systematically starved, tortured, and mass raped. A practice that we mostly know about because many of the torture and rape victims were released without any charge, showing that even Israel thinks that they were innocent of whatever it is that Israel initially accused them of. Lonerbox's immediate reaction to this is to laugh. He smiles, he laughs. He's like, oh my God, not this bullshit again. And then he goes on to say that the tortured and raped prisoners, including children, as Mehdi Hassan specifically mentioned children, had it coming. They deserved it. Israel wouldn't just torture and rape anyone, right?
The Palestinians who are imprisoned in Israeli centers are not imprisoned like randomly.
You notice how he called Mehdi Hassan a creep for mentioning that?
Do you support the release of Palestinian children?
Why is he? Oh God, what a fucking.
Yeah, well, that's so
as if his own
weird.
position is not accurately defined as one that can only come from a creep. The disdain for Hassan is palpable.
Yeah, calling that dude a creep is like, dude,
Mehdi Hassan drives
they're
liberal
just
Zionists like this absolutely mad because he's essentially
all
what
these
they pretend to be.
Zionists like
Hassan
have to
has a
do
long
like
history of being a partisan for Western
craziest
imperialism, of
amount
denouncing any resistance against it, including Palestinian resistance to Israel. He never would have been allowed anywhere near the mainstream media positions that he's held throughout his career if that wasn't the case. However, when Hassan sees something so
plenty of
clearly indefensible,
crazy
so
shit.
overwhelmingly well
This is
evidenced, like Israel's Gaza genocide. He's not hyper committed to defending Israel no matter what, so he's still able to point to Israel's obvious crimes and call a spade a spade. But liberal Zionists like Lonabox, like Destiny, are hyper committed to defending Israel, no matter what. So when guys like
It's like if
Hassan,
America
who
went this
otherwise
hard,
share their professed liberal ideology, don't mince
went this
words
hard
about
in,
the facts of what Israel is doing,
Liberia
don't
or
act as if
something.
they are Israel's
In
lawyer.
Liberia,
It
we, like,
exposes
funded
them
their
as what they
military and,
really are, not the humanistic,
saying,
critical
like, just,
thinking progressives that they like
subsidized
to present themselves
everything,
as,
and,
but
like,
rather
they
partisans
decided
for
that,
a
like, they're,
genocidal, ethno-nationalist,
a
settler
Liberian
project
Africa,
whose nature
and they were
as
going
such
to
was already very difficult for them
create
to argue
their
against or
neighbors.
skirt around beforehand, but which is now impossible for them to plausibly deny. As Israel's
that would-
genocidal
and, like,
actions broadcast
that
to the
would
world
still
in
be-
vivid, horrific detail,
I mean,
have finally
it's an
made
absurd
everything so clear
idea.
that even a liberal like Mehdi Hassan refuses to accept that
IRL,
bullshit anymore. These people are abhorrent, disgusting genocide
but, like, it just-
propagandists.
it wouldn't- that
Everyone
wouldn't
already
work.
knew that about Destiny, but if you've only been exposed to
Zionists,
unconventional
for
content,
the
you might
most
not have
part,
known that
are
about him.
European.
As I said, his ideology
Slash
is one
American.
called liberal Zionism. It's one that I have spoken about before in a video of mine, which I made more than a year before October 7th and the Gaza genocide. If you would like more information about how people like him use the false idea that they are pro-Palestinian when they are very clearly anti-Palestinian, pro-Israel, to pull in people who are sympathetic to the Palestinian cause, but who don't know quite enough about it to realize that it's all an act and that they are being conned into eventually becoming Zionists themselves and nodding along to the kind of genocide justifying propaganda that we've gone over here, then you should check out that video that I made on the matter, which is very long but nonetheless goes over it in depth and uses Lonabox specifically as an example of this phenomenon. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here about liberal Zionism and what it is. I feel like you might have already gotten the gist from this video, but yeah, if you want more of an in-depth look at it, I suggest you check out that video. Point is, don't be duped by these people. They have shown their whole ass. It was already obvious to me as someone who is very well versed on this topic beforehand, before the Gaza genocide, but now it is absolutely undeniable. You simply cannot watch people like this making those sorts of arguments and seriously argue that they are not simply anti-Palestinians, interested in doing whatever part they can to spread propaganda and enable an ongoing genocide to continue. We can only hope that a day where these people will be held to account, brought to justice for their clear-as-day genocide propaganda will come. Thanks for watching. Free Palestine. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe for more. And if you really like my content, consider becoming a monthly supporter on Patreon or Ko-fi, or making a one-time donation on Ko-fi. Now I'd just like to thank all of my supporters, and especially my $25 plus supporters. Gel Cribson, Brosnan, Ace Malad, RoboCommy, Exos. Vorsh unambiguously showed that he had drawn child pornography saved to his hard drive. Multiple images of drawn child pornography. And that's just the thumbnails that were seen for the folders that happened to be shown. I've already gone over that in my last video on the topic on my second channel. So look at that. Ethan Klein also went over it for like 4 hours, going over all the clips, all the context, everything. So I'm not going to reiterate any of that stuff. We've gone over it more than enough. Vorsh unambiguously had drawn child pornography saved in his hard drive. Drawn child pornography of horses raping children, no less. And this is a guy who has like a long and storied history of defending child pornography in really weird debate bro ways. It's a guy who has admitted on stream that he himself has masturbated to drawn child pornography before. And it's a guy who himself has said, and I'll play the clip in 1 second here, that people who are attracted to drawn child pornography are probably pedophiles. So here is Vorsh directly saying that. So keep in mind, this is someone who was caught red-handed with drawn child pornography on their hard drive. And again, he could have more. We don't know exactly what he actually had because he didn't show it all. All we saw was the thumbnails, like 15 different images. Who fucking knows what else was in there? And that he got off the hook because it didn't show up. But here is this guy straight up saying that people who are attracted to lolly, which is the like in-group term for drawn child porn, are probably pedophiles.
Okay, next question. Simulated child porn, lolly stuff. I think it's pretty sussy.
What does that mean?
I think that if you have an interest in that sort of stuff, you should definitely be checking yourself as to why. You know, like, the thing that really bothers me about this shit, apart from the fact that anytime you want to look at, like, hentai on a hentai site, you have to, like, negate the tag lolly.
What a normal people problem this guy has. What a completely normal everyday problem this fucking guy has.
And thus 50% of the site's content. The thing that bothers me is people who pretend there's no relationship whatsoever between, like, drawn lolly shit and actual attraction to children.
Aha.
Of course there's a relationship between those things. It's ridiculous to pretend otherwise.
Of course there is. It's ridiculous to pretend otherwise. Well, you had drawn child pornography on your hard drive. So you clearly have a pedophilic attraction to children, Vosh. It's ridiculous to pretend otherwise. I mean, I'm not going to go over the evidence. Okay, everyone else has done it already. I've done it for years now. Vosh has been terrified of, like, a big YouTuber finally going over this, and him showing his drawn child porn collection on stream was enough for Ethan Klein to go over it in a way that he could not possibly respond to. His response to it was fucking hilarious as well. Is there like a Vosh goblin? His defense was like, I didn't think they were children, officer. I thought they were goblins. And he goes, like, he talks about this in, like, such detail, like all this in-group terminology. It's clear this guy is fucking addicted to, like, anime child porn. It's insane. And Vorsh's fans are all, like, completely insane. Like, for one, they try to make it, like, about, like, the horse porn, which he also showed, which is weird, obviously weird as fuck on its own. And then they, like, try to defend him having the fucking drawn child porn. And they do everything except actually explain. Some of them outright defend it. But they do everything except actually address the problem, which is that this guy is clearly attracted to fucking kids. Like, they're just like, oh, you're bad faith. How dare you attack this queer POC man? How dare you accuse him of being a pedophile when his community has lots of trans people in it? Therefore, you are saying that trans people are also pedophiles. Everything except addressing the actual facts at hand. Just making up whatever shit comes to mind.
But one of the two images from this lolicon artist, okay, to be clear, one of them flatly did not look like lolicon. I'm sorry, you can say it's defensive. I think that's bullshit. I literally went back and looked. The chick is like 6 heads tall. She literally, like, it's like, apparently the reason why people have said that is because it's a drawing of a VTuber.
It's over.
And the VTuber is usually drawn as a lolly.
Okay. He's talking about this, like, so confidently. Like, Jesus Christ.
But in that case, that's blaming me for a drawing that's not the drawing that was in there. So
So what? Like, you had porn of, like, a child that was aged up or something, and you're like, I reject this. It's completely normal. God.
Completely
Can't you just,
reject.
like, watch fucking Pornhub like a normal person, dude?
That line of logic. It just looked like a normal drawing. Cope, it's all okay or none of it is okay. What does that mean? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you mean when you say that. I don't like it's this is one of the reasons why stuff like this is impossible to clarify, because even talking
It's impossible to clarify because normal fucking people don't have drawn child porn on their fucking hard drives. How do you even respond to this insane shit?
About it comes across as like crazy defensive or whatever, right?
Yeah, it does.
What else am I supposed to do? Let people like Ethan Klein lie and say that it was all like a folder full of lolicon? Or
I mean, you obviously can't prove it. But the very first fucking image that showed up was fucking drawn child porn is more than enough for anyone else to think that you're a fucking insane guy.
Or just explain it, you know? Anyway, one of the two images just flatly didn't look like lolly. I don't give a shit. Like Cope, Diamond, I just don't care. Like disingenuous shit.
I don't care. Disingenuous. You're a pedophile. You're a fucking pedophile, dude. Ian Kaczynski, aka Vorsh, is a pedophile. He's attracted to children. It's that simple.
The other one is like a threesome with 2 chicks and a guy. And in retrospect, looking at it, knowing now that that artist is a lolicon, yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so that's an admission that he had drawn child porn saved on his hard drive.
I looked at it. I think the vibe that I got was like short stack, thick kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Shorts. I have no fucking idea what this means, but this guy's fucking addicted to pornography. This is a fucking perv. There's no fucking wonder that he has a history of sexual abuse. No fucking wonder.
Like the way like goblins get drawn in porn.
Your Honor, it was goblin porn. Your Honor, I thought the child porn was goblin porn.
It was goblin porn.
rule me not guilty now.
You'll have to entertain me for a moment on this presumed shared knowledge of how goblins get drawn in pornography.
Oh,
but you
shut
know
up,
how they're all like
goblins, yo.
thick short stacks, right? That was the vibe.
No, I don't know that. I don't understand what the fuck you're saying.
Got because in the image, the girl that's shown has super thick legs and has like tits and a belly. So that's just the vibe I got. But now knowing that the artist is a lolicon, which I have been roundly reminded of, obviously knowing that it was intended to be a lolly drawing. So like, that's how it is, right? It's a drawing, you get it without context.
So you're
I know
attracted
that
to
when I
children,
saved them.
Vosh. You're attracted to children, Vosh. You're a pedophile, Vosh. It's that simple. And the people who are defending him are defending a pedophile. Who are the people who are defending him? Keffels, for one. Keffels is a pedophile defender. I mean, we already knew that, right? Of course she's going to fucking defend Vosh no matter what. She's a pedophile defender. I wonder who else. Who else has thrown that hat into the defending drawn child pornography ring? Well, basically, like every single Vosh fan is having a complete meltdown over this. And they can't actually like explain how this is not definitive proof that Vosh is attracted to children. All they can do is like just be like, oh my God, I can't believe you do this. I can't believe, like Ethan Klein, for example, he went over this extensively. He went over all the context, he went over everything, and he's still like, you know, this is just drawn child porn. You can't have drawn child porn. That's not okay. And everyone's like, oh my God, Ethan, how could Vosh was friendly with you? How could you do this to him? Like, he's friendly with you, so that means you're like, you owe your allegiance to him for the rest of your life? Even when it's revealed that he has fucking drawn child porn on his hard drive. For these people, like, it's all about like having a network of people who defend one another. There's no logic to it at all. It's just defend each other no matter what. Who else? I bet Xanderhall.
What's going on?
What about Shark Free Zero whatever? Did he defend Vosh child porn? Not that I can see. There's nothing on his video. There's nothing on his channel, rather. What about Xanderhall? I would assume that some of them are staying away from this because they realize how indefensible this is. Nope, nothing on Xanderhall's channel. It seems that this is so bad that even some of the usual Vosh orbiters are just staying quiet. Incredible. Like, even they know this is territory that you don't want to get into. I got some insane comments on my video about this. Like, I got comments on this saying that I was like a CIA agent because I'm trying to bring down Vosh, who's like the leftist god or something. Check out the comments. Man, I'm not a Vosh fan at all, but which part of this actually makes him a pedophile? Well, the fact that he masturbates to images of children, drawn or not, that makes you a pedophile, because a pedophile is someone who's sexually attracted to children. Glad I could clarify that for you. Vosh himself also said, this guy's like, come on, man, he only had drawn child porn, not actual child porn. Vosh himself has argued that drawn child porn, like attractions in drawn child porn, makes you a pedophile. So, yeah. And like all the actual pedophiles are here defending him. I don't like Vosh, but I see lolly stuff as artistic freedom. Yeah, artistic freedom to be a pedophile. People saying I'm alt-right. Like, if you don't like lolly pornography, you're alt-right. If you think it's wrong for you, if you think it's wrong to be attracted to kids, that's alt-right. This is the funniest comment. This is like a crazed Vosh fan going crazy. Shit like this is why we're headed for the camps and nuclear war, because of idiots online pedo-jacketing people. Pedo-jacketing, what a fucking word. What a fucking word, pedo-jacketing. Like, you're really stretching the boundary of these like terms when you use them to be like, come on, you can't call someone a pedo just because they had drawn child porn on their hard drive. When can you call someone a fucking pedo then? You're doing the CIA's work for them. Tankies are siding with the liberals again. Well, Vosh is a liberal. He went over this on his stream and even provided links. What did he go over on his stream? He had drawn child porn on his hard drive. There's nothing to talk about there. And then this guy goes on to say, there are literally adults with age regression kinks from both sides. Are we to say they're pedophiles for actually engaging in such content? No, of course not. Yes! What is an age regression kink? That's just like pedophilia, but calling it something else. Like, come on. No, I'm not attracted to children. I'm only attracted to 20-year-olds who regress in age to be children. Okay? Very different. You gotta be kidding me.
Secure the objective.
You gotta be fucking joking. Also, some people look at that animated content because that's how they process that trauma. Like he's saying, like, are you against drawn child pornography? So you're against abuse victims then, because they apparently love drawn child pornography. So I'm helping to start a nuclear war in the concentration camps because I'm calling out Vosh for having pedophilic content on his hard drive. Unfucking unbelievable. Vorsh is a pedophile. He is confirmed.
Cover me.
I didn't watch all of Ethan Funny covering this, but there was a part of it that was very funny where he's like a normal person and he engages with the term pedojacket for the first time ever. Well, he's not a normal person at all, but you know, he's not like in with the lingo of these communities that spend so much time defending pedophiles. And of course, Kettles came out to enthusiastically defend Vorsh.
It shouldn't be acceptable for people who are supposedly left.
This is him going over a Kettles tweet after he called out Kettles for defending Vorsh, who is a pedophile. After Vorsh revealed live on stream irrefutably that he's a pedophile. So the context is that Ethan called her, was like, come on, why are you defending the fucking child porn guy? And this was Kettles' response. Completely normal.
It shouldn't be acceptable for people who are supposedly leftist or progressive to pedo jacket trans people. First of all, whoa, I didn't say anything about trans people, and the fact that you even brought that up in this conversation is really fucked.
That's so fucking weird too. Like, a lot of these people, honestly, they seem to be obsessed with using the trans identity to defend the indefensible. Like, you're not attacking them because their opinion is adopted because they're defending horrible things because they are horrible people. No, the only possible thing is because they're trans. Like, they are, honestly, as a collective, they are on average pedophiles, white, racist, yet they're pedophiles who do racism from a position of whiteness and they defend themselves from a position of transness. And it's
like, why are you... I feel like she's running, using her trans identity.
Ethan Klein, one of the dumbest people alive, and he fucking wrecks them here. Like, he's completely right. Everything he says here.
To run defense for a very valid criticism. I didn't say shit about trans people, and I would never. That's a position that I loathe.
How did trans people even get into the mix?
From this. You never mentioned it. It's absolutely never discussed. I don't want to talk about bad faith arguments. I mean, give me a fucking... Give me a break. It should be acceptable for people who are... And what is the shit pedo jacking?
I've been saying this for years now. What is pedo jacking? At what point can you call someone a fucking pedophile, for one? And for two, why do you have a specific term for being accused of pedophilia?
Silliest, dumbest, straightest for serious ass shit.
Another word I've never heard.
What's the jacket?
What does Vorsh have to do with we can call him a fucking pedophile without it being pedojacking? He's already showing his drawn child porn collection on stream. What more do we need?
We are already the target of that by the right. Incredibly disappointing to see
What's your
from people
target
who know
ID?
better. And again, it's this whole thing like, yo, we're leftist, so can you please not talk about my infatuation with cartoon CP? No, bitch. Molly Hill. We got satellite imagery, man. I don't care. If you're left, right, center, right where she continues. I'm disappointed.
And her entire argument, right? It's not an actual defense of what Vorsh showed in stream, because she knows she can't defend it. So her entire argument is how dare you talk about this? I was on your stream once and you said I was a hero. So that means you can never say anything bad about me or my friend ever again. Even when he shows himself to be a pedo live on stream, you can't criticize us. These people are such fucking disgusting. Not just disgusting, but talentless. Talentless, knowledgeless, just so stupid, so sub-mediocre that they're even in any position where they can make money from YouTube is disgusting. Even independent of the pedo shit. That they would stoop so low as to defend abortion pedophilia though. It's like another level of demonstration of how useless they are, of how fucking horrible they are. Of what substanceless dumb fucks they are. The point where someone shows a child being raped by a horse in a thumbnail on their stream, and they have saved their hard drive, that's the point where you abandon fucking ship if you have any self-preservation instinct.
You had me on your show and called me a hero for fighting against a far-right stalker forum that made multiple people kill themselves. Now you are using out-of-context clips sourced from the same website to attack people. Do better, Ethan.
This is something a lot of these people do, right? They can never talk about the actual content of what Vorsh said. Now it's just look at the clips. No, the clips were made by Vorsh. Vorsh said these things and did these things on his stream. He's the original source of them. Doesn't matter who went and posted them somewhere else. Vorsh did them. They're from Vorsh. It's like someone else has also talked about this guy and said he's a pedo or whatever. Well, he is a pedo. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, they never actually deal with the content. They never deal with the substance. It's always like trying to guilt you by association, or like appealing to identity, or stuff like that. Or like, I was your friend. How could you do this to my friend or to me? No substance whatsoever.
Shut down. Move.
Oh.
I didn't call you a hero for defending Bosch. I said I thought what you did was heroic going up against Kiwi Plus. Does that preclude me, exclude you from criticism for the rest of my life? Of course not. Don't be dense. You moron. The only thing you're showing is what a fucking moron you are. Again, these people are saying with phrases like bad faith. These are bad faith arguments. They're not even logically consistent. It's just a fallacy to think that I owe you.
It's so nice to see, like, even though even finding it
Engaging foot patrol.
he's at least like a mildly normal person who's not he didn't grow up with video games or live streaming or watching like 12-year-olds live stream political debates. So he can at least see how stupid this is. It's the same shit that I've been saying for years, but from someone who like has an actual big platform rather than just a small one like me. Like, Vorsh's shit has been begging like an actual big, remotely honest person to come and talk about it. His child porn shit.
Oi, oi.
And now it's happened. This is like
Good
the
effect.
worst thing that could have ever happened to him. If someone with an actual platform talking about it and being honest about it and actually looking at the evidence and being like, dude, this is fucking ridiculous. What's wrong with you?
My lifelong allegiance because you called into the show once and I complimented you. Give me a fucking break, dummy.
Multiple
I feel like
enemy
they haven't
UAV
even watched
contact.
because
That's
saying
the thing.
you are using out of context with
I don't know if I have an issue with my internet or with OBS. I'm disconnecting and reconnecting quite a bit.
Enemy sniper's done.
Sit rep. LDPR incoming.
Hostile appears KIA.
What the fuck's going on out there? Tighten up and show some spine. Damn it, they must have hacked our comms. Go dark. We'll pick
We
you
just
up
got
later.
our asses handed to us. All survivors, retreat.
Hostile sniper down. Move. KIA.
confirmed. This shit ain't working. We've lost the advantage.
You're dead.
Come on, you're losing this fight. Hostile RCXD in your AO. Enemy RCXD detected.
That's the end of your story.
Time down. Aguinaldo calling in UAV.
Hostile UAV established overhead. Enemy UAV inbound.
That'll be all, soldier. Don't even think about getting back up.
Hostile UAV established overhead. Enemy HARP operational above.
Eyes on enemy.
You gonna let a bunch of company assholes beat you? Fight back, damn it! Heads up, hostile dreadnought above.
I'll give you the benefit. Got their marksman. Let's
TXT in
push.
your AO. RTB Black Ops.
We need to evac now. The day is lost.
Combatant taken out.
Hey chat, how we doing? Yeah, we're gonna talk about the oh shit, I forgot to make chat subscriber only. Hey, how are we doing? Yeah, y'all like my $16 fur coat? The Russian ruble is in free fall? I do not know about the Russian ruble. Okay, Russian economy collapses. No one dares blame Putin and the war. Huh. Putin struggles to maintain guns and butter. That's fucking crazy.
Team deathmatch. Eliminate the enemy. Take them out.
Whoa, whoa. There we go. Oh, am I quiet? Okay, I can I can turn myself up a little bit. Is that better? To mic up volume? Yeah, there we go. Oh, thank you very much, Jerome in Seattle. Seattle loves you, gorgeous. I love Seattle. Hey, dog, I just took you out. Go eat. What do you want? You are so needy. Yes, you are. You're so needy. Just need all the attention all the time. Oh my gosh, Grumpy Cray, thank you for $2. Poorish here chipping in. If you're poor, I do not need money. I appreciate it. $2 for Nikita Fox. Thank you very much. Mississippi does not love you, but I do. I love Mississippi. Arden as a service, thank you for 2 months. And Turtle Choom, thank you for 15 months. I cannot fucking believe I have been streaming for 15 months. You don't want the dog on your lap. This dog would not fit on my lap. I love her to death, but she is not coordinated enough for that. All right, let's go to Russia. Oh. There we go. Maybe even worse for Putin. Oh, fucking, shit so much. The Washington Times, America's newspaper. Shockingly, everybody, the conservative Washington Times is like, oh, Russian economy is still growing. And everybody else is like, oh, this shit is on fire.
Kill confirmed. We have our orders. See it through.
14 invasion in 2013. God, I can't believe it's already time. All right.
TACOM, give me a UAV.
Can I read this without
RCXD
nope.
activate.
It's just like I get it. Journalism is not the most paying gig in the world, but good fucking God. I'm sorry, getting meal sandwich fillings.
TACOM, requesting recon overhead.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that in a second because that seems like a whole thing. It doesn't. History's actor, no. Subscriber mode is not on. I need to go and figure that out.
Authorizing UAV mission.
Yeah, Lindsay, you would think that I am. There is probably a correlation between how ill-informed a lot of people are and the fact that many major news sources constantly try to mitigate and paywall all of their fucking content. It's very frustrating.
Using stun.
I hate the way I look today. maxed out. I don't know why everybody... Am I still low? Because that has to be not on my end. Like, I'm looking at where I'm at in... Like, I'm hitting the yellow like I usually do. So if I'm still low, it cannot be on my end. The music is louder than normal? Oh, you know what? I think I did turn it up. All right, that might be it. All right, yeah, I'll turn that down a little bit.
The lead is ours. Hostiles
Scout
reclaim
Pulse
the
is
lead.
online.
John Garrett's blame Putin and the war. Russian food inflation remains rampant, with butter prices rising 30% since last year. Sunflower, oil, and vegetables. Central bank last month hiked instant 21%.
Move up. Mark moves down.
Collected blame for prices on unemployment. Interest rate
Operating
is
RCXD.
wild. This Gen X is I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Wait, can I quote a Wikipedia article? I mean, it depends on. Sure, if you like, sure. You have a Wikipedia article you want to share with me.
Archangel present fire. Task copy UAV above.
So before we get into the transparent stuff, because I need, hey, just a skosh. Now the music's damn near muted. All right. This should be a good middle ground to where it was. I think. I hope. Before we get to the Trump stuff, I want to get just a little skosh of this Daily Mail nonsense.
Deploy napalm strikes.
Because so somebody just brought this up in chat. We looked it up, and from the headline, I would be led to believe this is parody. This is a joke. Because it reads like a parody article. It reads like an Onion headline. Excuse me, I am sniffing.
TACOM, requesting recon overhead. Deploying RCXD.
However, the fact that it's the Daily Mail makes me believe it's ironic. Now Gen Z are waging war on our sandwiches. I think it's slightly tongue-in-cheek. Okay, I'll compromise. I think it is slightly tongue-in-cheek. I don't want to take... I try not to take dumb shit too seriously because I think there's at least a shred of self-awareness from some outlets. But I think it is also based in sincerity, if that makes sense. Yes, classics like ham and mustard in favor of fancy woke fillings. Researchers quizzed Brits of all ages on their sandwich preferences, from their favorite type of bread to their ideal fillings, and even how they like to slice their Sammies. Sammies? Sarnies. Sarnies? What? Every time I read an article from the Daily Mail, I'm reminded why we won. Why we won the war.
RCXD maneuvering.
The study has highlighted a trend, blah, blah, blah. Exotic ingredients. I understand, Britain. Okay, Britain, come here. Let's talk for a second. I understand
Catch me, eyes in the sky.
that despite colonizing like 90% of the world
Not
at one
much time
point,
left. Put this to bed.
anything spicier than a pepper is considered exotic when 90% of your diet is just like porridge and potatoes and bread. But avocado on a sandwich is not, like, definitionally is not exotic. I need you to know that. Oh, and beans. And not even like good old American beans. Like just like British people it's just beans. Beans on toast. Sliced ham is a sandwich stalwart for the older generations, with a quarter of boomers saying it's their #1 meat. Gen-loving Gen Z prefer leaner chicken. Ham is still a lean meat.
Adler's lot are on the run. Solid job, Crimson.
Only 1 in 100 Gen Z would consider pairing ham with English mustard compared to 1 in 10. That's still, like, that's not 10% of people, is still not a lot. English cheddar appears to be on the decline, despite being enjoyed by nearly 6 in 10 of Brits. 2/3 of boomers say cheddar is their favorite cheese for a sandwich. The number falling through the age groups is just over half of Gen Z. Geez, these are, I could not be fucked to care about this if this wasn't so stupid. Violet, thank you for $20. Holy cats. Hey, have you been tuning in for a couple months and really enjoy this community? Gathered, I'm a queer Midwesterner and don't know anyone else like me. So your streams mean a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this little community. Continental cheese. Is that just American cheese? Another growing sandwich trend is for fancy fillings. Here's avocados, peppers, chilies, and olives, with 1/3 of Gen Z opting for upmarket extras over just 1 in 10 of boomers. So what you're saying is that younger Brits are finally, thanks to evolution, I'm assuming, developing something people in Boston have had for generations called taste buds. Like they're finally embracing the flavor ways of sandwiches and hot dogs in places like Chicago. Is what you're telling me. And sorry, that's too fanciful for the island of beans. Humble tomato is a universal favorite. Loved. Yeah, who doesn't fuck with the tomato on some sandwich? Mayonnaise is the nation's favorite, with around 1/4 saying it's the top of the toppings. Like 1/4 of British people saying mayonnaise is the best topping. The jokes write themselves. The jokes write themselves.
Team deathmatch. Playtime's over. Let's see what you're made of.
Toast the bread or use a sandwich maker compared to the average of 36. Comes with a vast majority of maybe not prepared to wait to warm up their snack. Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of sandwich you're making. Like there's also like a dividing line, I feel, between like boomers, and you see it sometimes with politicians, where politicians will occasionally, there's like always human interest stories every election about, oh, this politician still makes his own. Who was it? Who was the freak a couple years ago who made, was it Mitt Romney? Who just like had a ham sandwich every day for like 20 years. Who was that?
Target removed.
Yeah, mustards are better than mayos. But it's stuff like that. Like there is a contingent of older people who just literally think a sandwich is a meal is like what my relatively poor mom would make for a meal, like to send me to school with when I was a kid, which is like, okay, you're getting either peanut butter and jelly or you're getting ham and cheese. And it is that with maybe mayonnaise, not the peanut butter and jelly, the ham and cheese, with maybe mayonnaise, maybe mustard, probably mustard. And
Enemy is down.
Like something my mom could make very quickly and send me to school with that was technically food. And
body drop.
What was I saying? I forgot. What was I saying? Where was I going with that? Holy shit, chat. Sorry, I've been staring at a screen all day. I've been working on the big video I'm working on. Simple sandwich. Yeah, so like, but like that's the kind of sandwich you're supposed to have when you're a child, when you're like a baby. As an adult, I feel like there's still this contingent of boomers who are like, yeah, no, that's like a meal. That's like an acceptable adult meal. Just like some slices of ham, slices of cheese on white bread. Which
Launch
like,
a UAV.
again, I've been fucking poor. There was a time, not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, where I subsisted on peanut butter sandwiches and peanut butter and honey sandwiches for
TACOM, get a care package
like
on my grid.
months. Because it's calorically dense and there's protein. Now, if I had my way, it would be a lot more rich than that. Like every now and then, I fuck with like Italian deli-style sandwich making, and I will get a nice little bread, get you like 2 or 3 different kinds of meats, get you some gabagool, get you some pastrami, some pepperoni, some ham. I like my peppers, I like my tomato, I like my lettuce, I like my cheese. And like, if you want to heat that up, get that nice and heated, pop it in the oven.
On my mark.
Panini press that on a stovetop. Let's go. But like that, when you put work into that, that's a meal. Otherwise, I think we should just oatmeal is good for starve times. Yeah. Jerome in Seattle. Yeah, I actually recently threw it out. Well, relatively recently when I was getting ready to move. Which, obviously didn't work out. When I was getting ready to move, I was going through my cupboards and there was a time where I would eat instant oatmeal because instant oatmeal was like, $2 for halves of oatmeal. You can get a relatively filling, not necessarily nutritious, but relatively filling meal out of it. And so I had a entire box of instant oatmeal that I used to eat all the time when I couldn't fucking afford any other food. Brickmaster Max, God Jordan, you always look so goddamn beautiful. Thank you. All right, let's get back to the woke sandwich makings. Heading across now, that's psychotic behavior I cannot comprehend.
Tango to lead.
Love for the scene. Sarnie remains strong as ever. I don't know what the fuck Sarnie is. Elimination of sandwich. So, one very interesting thing here is that unless I'm missing it, putting chips in a sandwich is, I'm not gonna lie, like depends on the sandwich, pretty fucking good. There's a cute little bar when my partner's
Sweet dreams.
a 5-minute walk away from me.
TACOM, launch a UAV.
They have a pretty good 3 grilled cheese sandwich that after a couple of but they also serve it with a side of chips. And if you crack that sandwich open, you put chips on it. That's some good stuff. Sarnie is the Brit word for sandwich. Of course it is. A nation of nonsense.
Deploy care package.
Helen Fontaine, thank you for subscribing. Jerome in Seattle, can you say top of the toppings? Top of the toppings. Lady.
Enemy sniper shot.
Weaver authorizing napalm strike. Weaver requesting UAV tasking.
Destroy.
The ball got stuck, sorry. Her ball got stuck like right under the where my
Driving off the XP.
on the desk.
Deliver care package on my location. Crimson's on their heels. Hit them hard.
Yeah, prosthetic PJ. Fucking. Can I please do a makeup tutorial? I've done
Crimson
makeup
sleeper.
stuff before.
Trust
What?
no
I
one.
did I think I did my
Sensor is
makeup
online.
live on one of the
Destination marked.
long streams I did. Is it?
CIA's a bunch of proud bastards. They won't forget
Proper
this.
victory, that. Job done.
Destiny picture on Twitter? Which Destiny picture? Am my nails silver? No, they're like a blue. Oh, they come across silver, don't they? They're like a bluish. They're actually kind of natural makeup. I can't really see the coloration. I guess you can kind of see that it's supposed to be like a white to blue to purple, like very glam gradient. Missing Germa and 90. Alrighty. Let's get to the main. What was there was another thing I wanted. Oh, yeah. Trump's trans military ban. Which is fucking disgusting. Sorry, give me 1 second. Opinion on Avatar: The Last Airbender. I like it quite a bit. I should rewatch it at some point. Last time I saw it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Why couldn't it have been XQC? Well, why couldn't what have been XQC? What happened to XQC? Article from the Telegraph talking about the woke mind virus is getting a pushback because HBO is keeping J.K. Rowling on it as advisor. So unfortunately, yeah, I had talked about it a little bit with Benny on the stream, where we were talking about the just kind of tide of pop culture and where it's headed. And I really do think that with all the sweeping changes that Trump plans to make, or at least is claiming they're make,